Widely positive start to a Monday morning here with a 90-day deal in place here to pause, at least for the time being, the majority of China-U.S. tariffs. That is the NASDAQ currently 4.1%. We're actually trying to get back to day highs as we speak here. Absolutely everything underneath the NASDAQ as a result going to be very, very similar. There's Apple 6.5% currently. A lot of these with news of their own, including Meta this morning, 6.5% as well. Massive, massive gaps right across the board, including in the Semiconductor group, 4.5% already for NVIDIA. Widely green start. There's really not much outside of a few small caps to the downside so far this morning on this news. Scotty B getting the deal done, as we were saying on Friday. They are going to reconvene. There's apparently going to be a call coming up in the short term here between, or potentially anyway, Xi and Trump as well to continue this conversation. But here we go, up and away.
Oh, are the good times back? I hope so.
Let's see. Let's get through Monday, I think, first. But yeah, this is a pretty good start for sure.
Yeah, this is really interesting here, Brendo. So we knew that they were going to meet on Saturday and Sunday. We knew that from last week. Scott Bessent, as well as another administrative official, I think by the last name of Greer. And they were meeting their Chinese counterparts in Geneva, Switzerland. And here's what they've decided. So we're going to get a 90-day pause right now on the very exorbitant 145% tariffs. China will do the same with the 125. The fentanyl tariffs and some other tariffs remain on, so the effective rate right now on Chinese imports comes down from 145 down to 30. This all begins on Wednesday, Brendo, so technically not in effect. And then obviously this just gets the ball rolling for, as you said, that next meeting where we get an actual framework.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking a little bit before we came on this morning. Maybe this was more in the neighborhood of, you know, what they were expecting and what they were wanting right from the start. So positive, nevertheless, right across the board for basically global markets. I mean, Europe up huge. The Asian indexes all up huge to start the week as well. It's worth noting we do have more Fed speak coming through this morning. Fed's Kugler coming at 10:30. We do have a couple of bond auctions later. The big one, though, tomorrow, CPI coming up tomorrow at 8:30. This time we'll bring that to you live. We'll see how inflation is doing. Oh, yeah, there's still that to worry about as well. Tomorrow at 8:30, guys. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday, everybody.
I'm not too worried about inflation. Yeah.
Inflation.
We're about missing this bottom.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, look, deal sort of kind of done. I mean, you can't really say deal done, but look, at the end of the day, the bigger kind of ridiculous embargo-style tariffs are going to be off there, and you know, pretty much everything's rallying. Like, don't ignore, like, the shippers have gone huge. Travel names are up, just to name things that maybe didn't get talked about. Oil with a big rally. So it's looking, I mean, it's looking all good. Unless you're a pharma company. That's the one thing. Because, well, no, pharma, there's an executive order to try to bring down drug prices. Well, the pharma stocks are going to be down today.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, or like volatility is going to be down, or like gold is going to be down. But everything else is A-OK. So I think obviously looking pretty good. The gaps up are insane on some of these stocks. So it's not like you're going to have obvious levels on most things to look at. There's a few out there, but we'll definitely siphon through all of the opportunities. Crypto names up more than Bitcoin is worth noting. Like if you look at any crypto adjacent names, they have like double digit, well, not double digit, they're doubling up some of the moves that you see in Bitcoin, which still hasn't really made that strong push yet to that all-time high. I think we can get there. Maybe not by the end of the week or anything, but I think a slow climb to test that all-time high could make sense. Yeah. I think it's going to be slow for Bitcoin. That's just the gut feel, like a slow climb.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think Bitcoin will climb to that 109. Right down here, 104. Well, I mean, look at Amazon up 8. We were always asked like which names would we like to buy on, which I didn't buy any of it, on any kind of dips. Amazon was one of them. What's up, everybody? Hopefully you had a great Mother's Day. Here's Meta as well. Like, wow, it's still going. I was trying to call this up and seeing if we were going to get any pullbacks. That's still Amazon charts. Yeah, there we go. Come on, Meta, man. There it is. Look at this, man. Nice little move down. We actually got a little bit of a dip by into 626. Now 630 for Meta. And then, wow, the crypto bulls. I mean, I was just going to call this up. I actually got out of some Ethereum at 2,500 flat. So right now we'll hold forward on that one. But look at these weekly gains. 41% Ethereum. Thank you to Ripple for 17%. Solana, 21%. Look at Dogecoin down here, 42%. Cardano, 26% on the week. So it's just been amazing. I mean, even Bitcoin for 10%. I mean, look, most of the money I think in the crypto space, especially with a lot of viewers here, probably is in IBIT and or Bitcoin. But yeah, $59 and still going higher. I think it's nice. We touched a little bit on Apple. I think that's going to be a nice play today as well. Up 6.5%. Like I can't remember the last time Apple was up this much. Still, we still have a ways to go, as we had mentioned before. Like up here to 260 is where the high is. We're up here at 210 right now. So lots of room to go for all these names. But wow, was a good one. What, did you do anything special yesterday, or did you guys go anywhere?
So we had obviously Mother's Day's. It's a big day. You always try to do whatever they want. Unfortunately, my mother was under the weather, so
okay, all right.
We usually have plans. We'll do like a brunch, and then we'll meet with my parents and go out. But my dad wasn't feeling that well either, so she's like, "Oh, I just want to stay home, and I don't want you guys sick." So we went over to make sure we visited. My wife, the big thing she wanted to do was get the garden going.
Oh, good.
So it was a gorgeous day yesterday too. So we were out back. Doing some gardening, and then Aaron got bored of it and wanted to play this impromptu game of baseball in the back, which we don't have that big of a yard. So the second she hit a home run,
it's game over.
Yeah, and then the neighbors. I don't want to hop their fence, but
yeah.
They weren't home. I guess they were out for brunch. But anything special for you guys?
No, we had baseball yesterday a little bit, and Baxter came over and cooked up a meal, which was nice. Yeah, he brought some sausage. He made some nice heirloom tomato salad.
Nice, Max.
Did some risotto, so it was nice. Yeah, spending with everybody, my parents. Yeah, so it was nice. It was a good weekend overall. And the weather was the key. I mean, the weather was super, super nice. So, but the Maple Leafs lost.
Well, I was about to say.
I actually just bet them for the series. They're down. It's plus 160, which is pretty good. I mean, it's 2-2. We should have won Game 3, and then we lost that in overtime, so that was bad. Yeah, this is FOMO week. I already have FOMO right now, missing some of this bottom, but we'll see. It's 90 days. I mean, what happened in April was big. We talked about it being a bull market on Friday, and now it's a raging bull market.
Bullier.
Yeah, up 4%. I mean, the NASDAQ being up 4%. So do you think we hold this 4% today? I think we could. The NASDAQ right now, nice move higher here. And of course, I knew you looked over and it was going to be Randy time.
You knew.
Like Tesla is absolutely flying, man. Tesla up 8%, $322. So this is when they had their bad report come out, and then all the way to the upside, not stopping at all is Tesla, Randy. And then we also have Rivian, I would assume. I haven't even looked at Randy today. Randy, hey, what's up, Randy? I haven't even looked at Rivian today. 4% upside. Yeah, good things might be here already. I mean, this is a nice move up, but yeah, we'll see what we can get going now. I mean, it's nice to have this market all the way, not all the way back, but back in that nicely here. We're up like 23% from the bottoms there, Randy. So an absolutely huge day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just got one, but yeah, I'll take another one.
You know what's not up, though?
A lot of, I just filled it up. That's okay.
Netflix isn't up.
Netflix.
Yeah, like it's the whole because everyone was like, they're the tariff-proof guys. Like, I guess it kind of makes sense because they were the ones breaking out. Like anything that was already strong and breaking out, I suppose, like, well, we don't get any benefit because we weren't penalizing you for the tariffs anyway, so you're not going to be up today. So yeah, I could see if we sustain this rally, maybe Netflix decides to take a little bit of time off after doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Not that they're a big part of the index, but yeah, we'd preface that maybe the only things down were pharma, gold, and a little bit of like volatility, but not true. Netflix in the red today. I will actually point it out in the chat, and I think that's a good point. Like you always want to find like the relative strength, relative weakness, just in case. They had a great quarter. We'll be talking about some of the earnings, I guess, in the context of some of these moves. And oh yeah, that's right, Shopify, newly minted member of the NASDAQ.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff. Yeah, people were having some predictions about what was going to get added or removed and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, gold down 3%, so this could be a pickup spot here for GLD. All right, let's I just want to show you guys, down 3% for gold. So a nice little move down here into the 50-period moving average. I think that's going to be a good opportunity to buy. We talked about looking for more buying opportunities here in GLD. So looks like we could get one. I haven't bought anything since 250 or so, but we'll wait to see if this 290 right here has any holding with that as well. We should have Michael Noss coming out too soon in a minute. So yeah, man, lots of crypto, lots of Chinese ADRs ripping today. Lots of good news in the market.
The two biggest small cap movers are like crypto related, because there's like a couple of mergers. Nakamoto's going public through a merger with KDLY, so this thing's done like 20 million shares. And then you've got American Bitcoin going public through a merger with GRYP, Griffin Digital. So both of these are doing like tons of shares. Although this one doesn't look, Griffin doesn't look nearly as strong. But yeah, I see a lot of people talking about that KDLY and looked it up. So those are both sort of crypto related and flying around lots and lots of volume. But of course, like we said, we'll have Michael coming on in just a minute and send you guys back to the desk. Something for everybody today, it seems like.
I think it's better. We were just talking about the Canadian dollar, but I mean the US dollar is up huge on this as well this morning. Here's Shopify. You guys were just mentioning this, 10.2% right now. Just took out the highs there, day highs right now, back above 101 and still going. Just an absolute monstrous move on that note this morning. Yeah, Chinese ADRs, I mean, we can get to all of this coming up here. 8.1% for XPeng. All of these going to look very similar. 6%. Baba has come back down a little bit, back to 130. Some of the other e-commerce names doing a little bit better. 6% for JD.com. So an absolute monstrous move. That's Michael Noss's chart. So Michael Noss wants to talk about wheat. I don't make this up. How was your weekend?
I was writing this up on the weekend. Of course, it was before the deal. So now I'm coming in and I'm looking at my portfolio and everything's crazy. And I'm like, let's talk about wheat.
Let's talk about wheat. Tell us about bread, Mr. Noss. What kind of bread do you like?
Oh, geez, the amount of bread that goes through this house with two kids is just insane. But I don't know how we got on the conversation about commitment to trader data on Friday, but I said I would talk to you guys a little bit about that today. So that's what we're going to go on about. So wheat's a good example here just because for those who don't know, I think a lot of us sometimes forget the purpose of futures, which is not, YOLOing on large amounts of margin. Same with option contract. It's a hedging mechanism. So generally speaking, you have two sides of every futures deal in a perfect world. You have a hedger and you have a speculator. So the idea is that, for example, in the example here, you have a hedger and they want to lock in the price of wheat. They're a farmer. And then you have a baker who also wants to lock in the price of wheat because they're both wheat sensitive or they're price sensitive on wheat. If the price goes up, one is going to do very well and the other one's going to do very poorly, vice versa. In the real world, what happens is both of these people generally sell to speculators or buy from speculators. So every time you have a commercial or a hedger, you have a speculator. And that gets really, really important in a minute for this whole idea of the commitment of traders data and how we can use this to kind of see where everyone is. But just a little bit of this is what futures are for people who don't quite get it. Same with index futures, same with all of these. And the next picture here is of the Hunt brothers, which we're doing history, we're doing fundamentals on this stuff, we're doing all this. But this is the Hunt brothers. So what the Hunt brothers did back in the 60s, I think, is they tried to corner the silver market. Their idea was if they just bought a bunch of silver futures and then took delivery on the silver, so they were using these contracts for generally what they were intended for. They bought silver, they held on to the silver and just stored it away somewhere. Eventually, they would own the majority of the silver market. So what they could do at any point is just demand prices, right? They could sell whenever they want. They could prop the price up. They could cause this massive squeeze in silver. And you can see that they're, instead of either the House or some sort of congressional committee, because people were not very happy. They caused this massive silver spike and a huge silver crash and helped bring on a recession and a whole nine yards just because they were trying to buy up and exploit this market. So the reason I talk about this is that this is why now we have to have reporting. So if you are a commercial hedger, you have to report why you're taking trades. And if you're a large speculator, someone who's over a certain amount, you have to report those as well. The benefit to us is that at the end of every week, we get what's called the Commitment of Traders report. So you can see 3 lines here. The green line represents the large speculators and how many contracts they own or how many contracts they are short. Then you got the small speculators. We don't really care as much about those. Those are kind of like they just average up the retail trade contracts and they put that in. Then you have the hedgers, and they are going to be on the other side generally of the large speculators. So you can see the hedgers and the large speculators, they're kind of moving inversely. So why is all of this data important? Well, I like to bring it back to the idea of a short squeeze. And the reason that we all love short squeezes is that we know if everybody is betting in one direction on a stock, if you take the other side and there's a move, then those people have to liquidate those positions and they have to get out. The premise behind the Commitment of Traders data is quite often the speculators are wrong and the hedgers are right. And the reason for it is that the hedgers, quite often, they have the ability, they know more, right? They're the actual farmers growing the wheat as opposed to the people taking bets on the price of wheat, right? Just going back to the wheat example, and I'll show you why in a second. But I think about this like short float data. If I know that everybody is short, the speculators, they're all short this one commodity, and then the commodity starts to break out, starts to move up, starts to do some sort of price action, which is obviously important, that's going to make those people wrong, then I know there's a whole bunch of people that have to cover, even if they are undercommitted. So large speculators would include hedge funds, large institutions, pension funds. If the SPY, which we saw, I didn't have the chart of, but there wasn't that much trading behind it, then you can take the other side. So here's a perfect example, right? I think this is soybeans going back a while ago, and right at the top was the highest amount that these speculators, which are generally trend followers in the commodity space, they were super long. And then something happened, a breakdown happened in the soybean, and it kind of collapsed. And those speculators lost money, and the commercial hedgers that were very, very short ended up making money. And then you can see I wrote flip short because they flipped right at the low is which is hilarious, flipped short right at the other side of things. So as soon as they got to the bottom, then that's when everyone got short. So again, it just shows that these people are quite often wrong. So why did I bring about wheat the whole time? I think it's a good example to teach about, but this is actually about the next chart here, which is wheat. And the funny thing about this is you see that spike. This is a weekly chart of wheat. You see the spike the price way at the left-hand side. This was the whole, remember the stories when Russia invaded Ukraine, there was zero hedge saying that we're all going to run out of wheat and we're all going to go hungry and all of this. And you had this massive spike into that kind of war. And that's when, for the first time in a long time, speculators got long wheat, and then it fell apart as it did. Now, the reason I have this circled at the low is that the speculators are now more short wheat than they've ever been before. And I know Amazon's up 10% today. I know all these things are going crazy. But the idea behind the Commitment of Traders, and the reason I think this is important, especially for futures people, is you can see things like this. So we're at a very interesting level of support on this. And the people who are generally wrong are as short as they can ever be. So if we start to see something that's going to start to move wheat higher, it's going to push this up off of this support zone, then it's a short squeeze, right? That's what we're looking for, is that all of these people are potentially short and they're going to look to squeeze shorts. Now, if you're looking for more information on the Commitment of Traders, a trader who is in the Market Wizards book, who is very active on Twitter, is Jason Shapiro. He trades entirely using this data and looks for crowded markets one way or the other. So they're too crowded to the long side. He's looking to take shorts and vice versa. And he does very well because he got in the Market Wizards book by doing it. Again, it's an interesting data point. Like anything, I think it should be part of a trading plan. There should be price involved. You don't want to just get long because everyone's short or short that everyone's long. But if you know where everyone's positioned, maybe sometimes there's a place to take the opposite side of a trade.
Always good to understand the technical side of things and exactly what is happening under the hood. Michael Noss, best of luck on a Monday. We'll see you after the close.
Talk to you after close. Let's hope this gap holds.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to have their fingers crossed on this gap holding. But you know what? Even if it doesn't, like, we're up so much that it's hard. It's going to be hard to put too much of a dent in it from the lows, like where we're at here. Like, it's not even just about where we are, like the overnight. Like, you talked about Amazon being almost 10%. Well, not quite. Give it a little time. Give it a little time. It's got a ways to go. But how much could you pull back without this still being euphoric? Like, you could, as far as I'm concerned, you could pull this, like, there's a Q's here. You could pull this entire gap back into the 200 period, and it still looks pretty good, even if people were taking profit, because, like, look where we've come from. We were at 400 on the Q's. We bounced 25, whatever, like more than 25% from the actual low. Not that many people are going to get that actual low, but yeah, you could pull back pretty decently and not have to worry about it. And to his point about, sometimes when people are caught in some shorts, specifically talking about wheat, there are some death cross shorts all over the place, where even if we consolidate or pull back in here, there's going to be a little bit of short-term unraveling, and maybe they can have control for a bit, but at some point, there's some shorts that likely have to get out. I mean, Tesla's a good example of that on the charts as well. Like, it's only now starting its breakout above what had been that brick wall at 300 or just underneath the 300 level. So, yeah, there's some shorts that are trapped in this for sure. Like, so even if we get a pullback, I wouldn't feel that bad if it was a little bit of a dip.
Yeah, no, like we talked about, we were in a bull market last week. We're in a bull market this week. You buy bull markets. I mean, I feel like it's pretty easy one there. Interesting to hear about some wheat talk there. We talked about GLD heading to the downside, and he was talking about the futures in general, right? So when you're trading with the futures, there's what I like to do here was TQQs. So I'm looking for some pullbacks here, up 12%. The NASDAQ, of course, this is a 3 times levered product. So I'm looking for pullbacks in the market this morning. I think we could have exactly what happens, not what Michael was talking about to that extent, but there's some profit taking that's going to have to happen today, right? When you come in and you're seeing some of these names, like an Amazon, like an Apple, I don't care what the name is, like a Google, which I sold some on Friday. All of these plays that are up so much today, I feel like you're getting a relief rally, which is really nice. And not relief as in, tariff relief or anything like that, but just like, okay, it's not like you can breathe a little sigh of relief if you've been buying some dips or if you've been holding this whole way, because a lot of these names, and Google's not going to be the best example, but maybe a Meta might be as well, where you had such a dramatic pull down there on Meta that people were like, what have I done? 740 down to 480, but now you're like, okay, even if you push the button at all-time highs for Meta and you're long north of $700, it's at 629 right now. So the most you're down, if you're caught at 7, is still 10%, which a lot of traders can stomach that a little bit better than they can being down 25% down near the bottoms, right? So I just think it's a nice relief rally today. Now, whenever I think of that, I think that pullback is imminent. But yeah, that's why we wait, and we wait for some of these plays. Palantir's up. I mean, all these names are starting to get going, obviously, again. So we just have to be careful. And then if you're going to short anything, we talked about pharma and
pharma actually. Work looks pretty bad.
And then maybe even, I don't want to short a Bitcoin or anything like that, but we'll see what happens at 105, right? I mean, and then IBIT, of course, is going to have a little bit of a relief today, only up 1%. But again, that's the one thing that's been struggling a little bit here, not moving the same way the NASDAQ is. And we've seen sort of a correlation between those two. So I'm wondering to see if Bitcoin may be relatively weak, maybe. Today, but again, the market's not quite open, but it's a 24-hour market, so we'll see crypto and altcoins going. Yeah, Eli Lilly, that's the thing. See, that's the thing about being diversified.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And it kind of sucks so when it's like this, because when your money's in healthcare or UNH, Eli Lilly, anything like this is what happens some days. You get to take the good with the bad. We were just at 9 bills on Eli Lilly. and now you're down to 7 and looking horrible. So there's some traders that hit out, in some of these plays. Not that Eli Lilly was a good hiding spot, but you've gotten hit. So that's what diversification is important. I just saw someone in the chat there saying Lilly's taking all the Apple profits today. Yeah. I mean, that's what happens, right? I mean, maybe it's time to dip by something else, right? Hearing a note about White House officials saying 232 tariffs, and then the story ended. So we'll get. About the pharmaceutical order. Okay. So just how that's being affecting some of these plays. So, okay, let's go over for the first time today and meet Miss Adara. Adara, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good, thank you. And certainly it was a good weekend, or at least the end of the weekend for these stocks. Most of the names on both upgrades and downgrades are up today. Starting with upgrades, Marriott with a Jefferies upgrade, D.A. Davidson upgrading ACI worldwide. Then we've got Wayfair up 16% this morning with an Argus upgrade. The Trade Desk, a day 2 earnings play, getting an upgrade here from Needham. They did quite nicely as well initially on Friday. Then we've got some downgrades as well. Mod V Care with the downgrade from Barrington Research. DocGo up 2% this morning, but getting downgraded by Canaccord Genuity. Structure Therapeutics with an HC Wainwright downgrade. And last but not least, Barrington Research downgrading HireQuest. Certainly on the upgrade side of things, a couple names to watch today, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, Wayfair's got just what you need, and it's not going to be tariffed anymore. So, they're one of the names that obviously stand to benefit from it. The Trade Desk, however, well, this was straight up earnings play on Friday. Look at the give back. They basically just shot up at the open, right through $70. They clean 70 break, comes right back. The price that it breaks out from bounces right at $70, and now all of a sudden we move this out of the way so you can see double top on the Trade Desk post earnings at that 76 level. So if there is continuation today, that's got a bit of a blue sky setup above 76. And you go back to the daily chart, look even better if you get past 76 quarter or so. That's got to be on the radar. I actually looked at Zim over Wayfair just because, I don't know, Zim had a better technical level, but Wayfair over 40 starts to look a little bit spicy. These guys have been beaten up pretty badly in here, and if they can sustain this move for a couple of days, you've got some room till you get to the next resistance level. But when I looked at it, I liked Zim a little bit better because Zim had cleared out $16. Want to see this one after the open because it's got a 12-cent spread on it right now. But upgrades and downgrades. I think TTD probably the most interesting one on that list because that 76 level. But if I'm looking at sort of a non-obvious or non-tech type play because of this tariff relief, then Zim is the one because the way it broke that 16, above the 50 period, I just like the fact you can dip right back into the prior high and still be above the 50 period. So even on a dip, I like this bad boy. But it's going to have to open up and show me some volume.
Yeah, from Zim to him, Hims right now up 9%. And just keeps on going, man. What a move up for Hims. We saw that story last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, right down there when it got approved, Wegovy or one of those names, to be able to be added to the platform, and boom, right there to the upside. It is rocking. So Eli Lilly, reverse action as opposed to what's happening with Hims right now. So not all is bad in the space. We actually had, I don't know if it was Steve Talman, whatever, I don't care. I'll give credit to who all these guys, because someone was saying about a Lilly Hims sort of trade to have on, and it was, I'll have to ask Steve if it was him, but anyways, nice move to the upside, one going one way, one going the other. We saw the TTV, right? The Trade Desk, so TTD. This was a big name last week. There's many traders that were pointing this out to us all week about sort of the run that this had been on recently as well. Disaster strikes this name hard back in the earlier on this year with horrible earnings. We saw Search going the way of the monsters, which maybe doesn't exist anymore. And then all the way to the downside here, breaking through the 50-period moving average. And I get that garbage out of here, all that out of here right now, and go right back there, right to the upside. So there goes the Trade Desk ripping up. And I just saw my guy Joseph coming in the building right now. Joe, I bought the Leafs, so I bought them at plus 160. I can't believe how much they're down. right now. They're by far the underdog in this series, being now tied 2-2 with 2 of the next 3 games happening in Toronto. Can't believe those odds, but maybe I am the fool once again for buying the highs I'm now buying the lows.
Well, you're buying. Yeah,
I'm buying the
buying
lows
the dip.
now. So
You want to do that.
Yeah. So here I am worried about like this little like $100 bet or whatever that I'm putting on. Meanwhile, I'm riding with like.
That's how
so
sports
much,
gambling works, though.
So much in this market, it's so stupid. Oh man, Monday.com up 4%.
What isn't?
Oh, my kids, we went to the Scepters game on Friday night there, which they lost to, the Toronto team, lost to Minnesota. It was my kids have this charades game, and it was my daughter with one of her friends, and they sit there in the car and they do it. It's on your phone. You hold it like this, and it just says like cat, and then you play charades. And anyways, they're playing it in the back seat, and I always hear they go, "What's the worst day of the week?" Monday. I'm just like, yeah, I like Mondays. I just wrong with the worst day of the week. I don't know. I like Mondays. I like coming in and sitting here and with everybody and trading the market and doing all that stuff. For me, I kind of like, my worst day of the week is kind of like a Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. I don't know. Thursday, you look forward to Friday. I don't really have a bad day. Monday wins that. If I type it into ChatGPT, Sharif style here, and I type in what is the worst day of the week, probably Monday.
It's probably Monday. I find it, to me, it always varies based on what are our activity schedules like. Because I agree with you in sense on Tuesday, but Tuesday is now baseball for my daughter. So now all of a sudden Tuesday is like a really good day in the week, and Wednesday's the day that we don't have anything.
Right. Okay. Those are the worst. So
now
days,
I'm like, well, Wednesday's kind of the worst day to me. It's like right in the middle of the week. We don't really have any activities that day, so it's.
You're lucky with the one kid. Like I wish I could employ that theory.
Wednesdays.
I cannot. Like yesterday we had baseball. Tonight we have baseball and hockey. So I'm going to baseball without the kid because I'm coaching, and she's going to hockey. Like it's and then Wednesday we're hoping for rain because we have hockey and baseball again. And then we have Tuesday is volleyball and basketball.
Yeah.
Thursday is it never stops. But hey, kid life.
All about exactly.
From dad life to workout life. Let's go back over to the desk, I guess.
Push an iron.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know about here this morning. There's so much moving around. We'll just jump into the market overall, and then we'll talk about some tech.
Guys, we closed out on Friday on the ES June contract at 56.77. The overnight high is 58.65. We are almost 200 points higher than where we closed with that market gap. I just want to point out this ascending wedge here with this flat top break that we finally got through that break of 5,700. So here's the deal. We're going to look to 5,800. If we really sell off, if Sean is right, if we get some profit taking after being down for a while, we're going to use 5,800 as our support. We're going to use resistance, guys, the overnight high, 58.65. That's only about 25 points from where we are.
As always, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Do it right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. All you need is an email address, and then you can have everything you need to know delivered right to your inbox every single morning for free. Let's talk about tech. If you're just joining a little bit late, you missed a lot already. 90-day pause coming from the weekend from these U.S.-China talks on tariffs. They'll have further conversations. Apparently, Xi and Trump actually going to get on the phone, discuss some things, apparently, but that's the NASDAQ right now, which is all you need to know, because everything that's within the NASDAQ leading, hold on, that's not working. Anyways, tech is up huge. I'll refresh our board.
And that's a fantastic looking chart, by the way, Brendo. So let's talk about what the deal is encompassing here. So the U.S. and China agreed to a 90-day suspension of most tariff, guys, marking the biggest easing in trade tension since President Trump returned to office. The reciprocal tariffs on each other's goods will be cut from 125 to 10% and from 115 reduction on both sides. Fentanyl, though, the fentanyl-related tariffs, which are about 20%, and also the base level China tariffs, 10%, that remains. So your total U.S. tariff exposure on China now amounts to 30% here, Brendo. Let's go on. I just All right, well, I just screwed that up, so we'll just talk about this. The pause will begin on Wednesday, guys, following talks in Lake Geneva, Switzerland. Further negotiations will continue, but no full back, rolling back yet. Both sides they describe the talks as quite positive, and that came from the Chinese Ministry of Commerce. So some of the remaining uncertainties that we don't know, will China lift their rare earth metals or rare earth elements export restrictions, Brando, because that had been part of the response. Also, will the U.S. push for more allied support to restrict Chinese trade? And last but not least here, what's the long-term path for the structural trade reform between the two nations? That probably will be ironed out once we get a full deal.
And I think that's the most important part at this point. The market just wants certainty after all of this and just give us something that we can sink our teeth into for the path ahead going forward. 4% right now, guys, for the NASDAQ.
Yeah. Oh, man, like you look at these numbers to the upside, and you can't remember the last time you saw something like this, right? Like, let me just sort of buy percentage-wise, just so you get an idea. This is just my quote for it. It's not really like every stock out there. Amazon, 8.7. Tesla and Hood, pretty much 8%. Micron, which we'll get to when we talk about chips, that's the strongest one, 8%. AMD, 7.5%. I mean, Apple sits there at 6.5%. Meta at 6%, and you're like, oh, the disappointment. What are we doing? NVIDIA only 4%? Shame on you.
Fail.
Shame on you, NVIDIA. How are you only up 4% on a day like today? You can't be only up what the market is up or slightly.
Look, we need a graphic about some sort of a color of what jacket Jensen's wearing today. Maybe that's why. Maybe if he was wearing a blue one,
that's
it would be up a little bit higher.
But Apple, I like that. Where do we even come up with these? And we got like sound effects and graphics that we're just making up every single day.
Andre's on top of it over there, man. Andre like, the Giant over there.
I'm feeling that one. Look, obviously everything's euphoric right now. I think, we'll talk about patience and all that off the open because you can expect probably some profit taking. When looking at Apple here, like sometimes you get these like obvious prior highs that you want to work back into or like a 50 period. That's going to be a lot of the charts today. The good thing for Apple is it actually has work to do. It's got work to do to get to 215. Because that's the recent high since all this started. We haven't even broken that out. There's still some concerns with Apple. They are raising their iPhone prices as well in the 17, and they're saying that's not because of the tariffs. But with that gone, it's got a nice range to at least come back. If we dip into 07, I like me some 07 in here if we can get it. And then you have that 215 on the daily, which is an obvious sort of still resistance level on Apple. I think the first time you get there, it's probably on a day where you're 6.5% up, getting to 215 for the first time is probably a bit of a fade. But this is one, it actually sets up at a prior level at that 207. A lot of stocks are really gapped far away from anything reasonable.
Yeah, I was just, we're going to talk about China in a minute near the end. I was looking at FXI here, up 4%. But yeah, look, I just put this sticky note out. It's not going to have anything rocket science on it today because I really like Apple, again, as a pullback play. The market's coming back in. Like, you can see Apple is like not... I'm going to fix these wicks to get these out of here. So let me look at something else for now. I'll just want to talk about this because we're going to talk a lot about the NASDAQ and buying everything here. I don't have SMR on here, but I think SMR can go. SMR is reporting tonight. And breaking through this $18 level, I think that this is a good little spot here. I mean, we're at the level right now. We gotta hold it, which is why I'm not buying the tops. But any kind of a pullback into 1750 here for SMR, just to get off the tech talk just for a minute, I think that's a decent dip buy opportunity. We'll see if we can hold that. 350 now, 380,000 shares. I do like SMR here today, and then I'll just go over this. I just put it out. The sticky note doesn't have anything radical or anything like that on it today. Unfortunately, we have all these dark pools at 8 o'clock, but we have to get rid of them. But you are pointing down a little bit. I just want to buy dips here in anything. So I wrote down here for the TQQs between 61 and 62, which isn't that dramatic down. Like, if you just get a 1% retracement down, then you're into these levels. And I think that could hit. We did bust through on Friday. Bust through Friday's highs, obviously right there of $60. But this is the kind of pullback that I'm looking for right now in the NASDAQ. We had a good run last week before pulling back on Thursday, Friday. And then so that's kind of the levels that I'm looking for here. That's 60.50. I'm looking a little bit higher, between $61 and $62 for a pullback here on the NASDAQ. So if we get anything like that, then I'm a buyer for sure. So Sharif mentioned that, I was thinking about a pullback. I am, but I'm still not thinking about shorting anything. There's completely different logic here. I want to go long everything in the NASDAQ, just not at current prices. I mean, even if you just look what's happening right now, there's a high, there's a high, there's a high. So we have 3 new lower highs right now. Made one there. And then we came back, we tried to get up to that high again, we failed. Then we tried again and we failed. And now we're under the 50-period moving average, trying to push a little bit lower. The news is amazing out there, right? It's a 90-day, we got China, it's on board. Scotty B delivered apparently. I'm not super bullish at the highs, but I am very bullish overall. And I think that the market sentiment does not change. We've been in a bull market for a minute. We talked about that. So let's just see if the, that sort of exuberance lasts. I say it does, but early fade. So we're going to wait. I'm not shorting anything today unless we get some sort of like a story that this is just not.
Well, there is pharma.
Oh yeah, but I still don't even want to short pharma, honestly. I think there's so much excitement to the NASDAQ that I would much rather play pullbacks than short pharma. But that is right. I already said it already too. I said short Bitcoin when we were at 104 and change. Now you're at 103.9. I don't necessarily know if that's not the thing. But yeah, I mean, there you go. Jay Lee in the chat. Why not short the TQs at 66? Yes. All these levels look great to the high side. There's not one thing that I can say that this 67.50 right there for the TQs. Yeah, man, that would normally be like hammer time. It's just when you're up like this, I've learned that the biggest trades that have gone against me are fighting the trend. So we'll wait to see if I am fighting the trend. And that will be hopefully determined in the first 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, either the market comes way back in and I take longs and get hurt, or the market continues to rip, at which point I'm still waiting for pullback. So I don't really know. I don't really know.
Well, even the name we're talking about here is a perfect example. We're talking about next is a perfect example of something where you want to join the trend, but it could really pull back.
Wow,
heavily.
there must be news. So Eli Lilly is going ham. That's so funny. I was just about. This was one of those names that I don't know what happened to Eli Lilly, but something just happened.
Obviously.
We just went from 700 to 750, like just ripping up there for Eli Lilly. So a big 7% move or so there. Like we just gained $50 on 700. So big move up there for Eli Lilly. Probably because we started talking about it, but obviously it can't be this. There it is, now breaking through 750. So yeah, congratulations to Eli Lilly shareholders that were panicking not more than 3 minutes ago. And now you're right back up. Wow, yeah, that's going pretty
I don't hear anything.
Now I got to put a bid down at 700 again, I guess. All right, let's go back over to the desk.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out here for something on LLY. 12 and a quarter, meanwhile, for this one. Shopify up huge, right at 103 right now. So we'll see if we can hold back above 103. When we first started this morning, it was 100. There's $3 if you wanted it on Shopify. If you missed it, as of the close Friday, so start of trading Monday coming up, Shop goes into the NASDAQ 100.
When I reviewed this, Brendo, it was up 7.8%. Now it's breaking through 12, so there you go. All right, guys, up big in the pre-market. The move comes after the NASDAQ announced that, yes, Shopify will join the NASDAQ 100 and the equal-weighted index as well on May 19th, as Brendo mentioned, replacing MongoDB, ticker MDB. Some of the highlights here, Shop just reported not that long ago. It was a good report all around, with revenue increasing about almost 27% year over year. Subscriber revenue continuing to grow, good cash flow and good net income as well, increasing year over year. And the NASDAQ 100 inclusion, that boosts your visibility, and it forces these ETFs as well as these index fund buying your stock. Q1 strength also highlights Shopify's resilience in the e-commerce industry despite the macro uncertainty, and the gross merchandise volume here, the amount of stuff bought on their platforms, grew 23%. That confirms, Brendo, strong transaction volume and merchant engagement.
If you zoom out a little bit on this this morning, back above some key levels here on, this is a weekly chart, so zoom way out. We're right there, just above 103, as we said. So trying to take back some key support areas here, guys, for Shop.
Yeah, so look, on Friday, because if it's going in on Monday, then you have to remember on Friday, there could be some quality action, let's just say. at the close. We'll see. You never really know how these things are going to play out, but because our chart doesn't really show it from the switch from the New York to the NASDAQ, this is what you're gapping to. This 100 level, and there's room to 110, 112 in here, but gapped above 100 with a 101 local high. I think that's what kind of comes into play today. Like the name we're just talking about, like things that could dip. Like this could dip all the way back into 100, and you're coming back in its prior high, even to like 99, and that wouldn't be like crazy. You'd still be testing prior resistance if this thing fell 4% at the open. So like that's what you got to be careful for. And if you look at the reversal it did on Friday, like there were some in control shorts underneath 94. So I suspect there's some covering on shop, but that's one where the dip is a little bit further. Like if I'm saying like, hey, look at Apple at 07, well, that only has to drop 1.5 points, or less, 2% tops to get there. This would have to drop 4%. So it's a little bit more tricky. For sure on Friday, it's going to be a play. And one way or the other, we'll see it in the afternoon, but yeah, it would have to get down to at least 100, if not testing that 99 area to test the prior high, which is kind of what I would be looking for here for Shopify.
All right, Phil, for me, I'm just getting some trades ready to go here. I put some bids on SMR there. Yeah, I mean, look, great news, right? Obviously, it continues to go higher there. If we're looking at it from a daily chart, again, for Shopify, we're all the way up to, what are we up today? 103, so we're up here. Took out some key levels. We talked about this actually last week, that we had got this garbage out of here off earnings, and now we're starting to take out some levels, and we already did that at 93. There's the cross. Looks like a death cross higher right now as the 200 crossing the 50, getting back up there. $100, good base. I think that's a buy if we can get back into 100, but again, big movement here. I'm not going to look at this today. It's moving based on, obviously, the NASDAQ's going. Without the inclusion, you're still probably up 7-8%. I mean, there's been a lot of names in sort of this new finance. Robinhood's been upside. Look at Affirm. See, there's 8% for Affirm. I think it's probably 7 or 8% for Robinhood as well. Don't hold me on that. I haven't really looked at it. Okay, well, there it is, 8%. Yep. So, and that's what I said. Like I just said, Shopify would probably be 7 or 8% without this news. So if you take that news away, Shopify could pull back probably 3% on this. So if we do that kind of a work and say Shopify pulls back 3%, then that gives us that $100 mark, right? So there you go. So just pulled up some names there out of the blue that match, and not that XYZ. Let me see what that is doing quickly. We got to go back over the desk because we have a lot of stuff to cover here. We're still not too much to go. But there's XYZ up 5 as well. So some of these names, may have found some decent bottoms. Shopify definitely has, with a good catalyst. I think that's the one I'd buy. So $100 pull back there for Shopify.
All right, we'll continue along here. I'm still looking for something on Lilly on its way back down in a hurry here. They are talking, just be aware, they are talking about drug companies right now on CNBC. So nothing substantial as of yet, but we'll keep an eye out for Eli Lilly specific. Let's go to crypto here to the upside this morning as well. Nowhere near as much as equities, just 1% right here for IBIT. Bouncing off 59 though, but positive anyway.
We almost got to 106,000 over the weekend, Brendo, just shy of that level. Good look here. This article positing, Joe, $122,000 price target. That would still leave me the loser in the bet, Brendo, if that were to happen. No, guys, last week we recorded about $882 million in net inflows into these ETFs, the digital assets ETF. And since the year began, can you believe this? $63 billion in net inflows into Bitcoin ETFs. Forget about ETH and everything else. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Yeah, but very bullish over the weekend, Brendo. I was actually kind of thinking about this. I'm like, maybe, Bitcoin was kind of running in the same way that it was gold because people were looking for a risk-off investment. That's what we had been seeing with gold. I was worried that once money started flowing back into equities, the Bitcoin trade would kind of dry up. We're not seeing selling yet, but the day is not over.
When's your birthday again?
The 25th.
Still Bitcoin. Still time.
We're not getting to 125 by the 25th. I mean, it's not a 0% chance, but it's not that likely. And one of the things that is a bit, it's not crazy, but one of the reasons why I think you're lagging a bit here and not as bullish on Bitcoin, at least today, has to do with what we did over the weekend. Like, you gapped through 105, and then all we're doing is sort of chilling out right back in a range-bound form. Like 105 still, in theory, resistance, and then you got like 103.5 out here. So I was looking at some of the other names that are adjacent, and don't normally think of it this way, but all of a sudden, Mara is breaking back out. So it's been in that downward trend. It had that resistance at $15, and you've cleared that out. I mean, 15 would have been that ideal spot because that's the prior high, but then you've got $16 in here, which is oddly enough the same as Zim. They both have a very similar price action if you pull back in here. So yeah, I mean, as long as we hold on to that shelf, it's like 102.8 to 103, or a support level, I suppose now, then Mara here at the 16 level starting to look pretty good. It's like it bounces off the teens, and then it gets up a little bit, and then it starts to sell off. That's the pattern here with Mara. It had just broken that pattern when it lost like that 13 area. So I think it's I wouldn't want to be holding this forever. I'm really not much for the miners, but at least for today, I'm holding on to that prior high. Call it the March top as a dip buy for Mara.
All right, look, man. Shout out to everybody that kind of followed the lead here. I mean, we talked about XRP at $2. That's now 30% higher, right? This was a couple weeks ago. So we bought at $2. We're glad we talked about that one. It's altcoin season right now. I said to Neil, I woke up today and got a fill at 2,500 on Ethereum. So I actually got out of pretty much, I'm still holding some in ETHE, but pretty much out of all of them right now and sitting in a little bit of cash. I would love to get just in my crypto account, and sitting in way too much cash in my other accounts too. But there it is, 42% up for Ethereum. This is in the last 7 days, and just let alone what's been happening right now in the last day or so. There's XRP up huge, Binance Coin, like all these altcoins. Look at our guy over here, Dogecoin, 43% to the north side, 28 for your boy Cardano as well. A lot of these names really starting to go. I mean, I can talk about all, I can't really talk about all these because I don't know them, but when you're looking at some of these numbers here in all these altcoins, look at Pi Network. Shouldn't that be like at a different price, 3.14, something like that? Yep. Right there, $1.32 though right now, so that has at least a triple in it, right? But anyways, 122%, 20. Like they're all doing what we thought they would do. Thankfully, Tether and USD Coin holding fort, right? We don't want to see that. We want to see that. And then there's Bitcoin up 10. I mean, what a great movement there. Will we get over that 3.5 trillion market cap? Looks like we're going to do that. Next stop 4. I don't think it's an impossibility that Bitcoin does get 20% from here, or not 15% from here in 2 weeks. I mean, I do think that that's possible. And I think no matter who wins this bet between Sharif and Joe, everyone will be happy. Wins, yeah. This is going to be a good one there, and I'm glad that they have the bet on just so we can talk about it. But I am really, really happy, obviously, with some of this crypto holding. And, my last buys, we told you I bought by accident twice, once at 86 and once at 84. So, yeah. I mean, things are going. The plan was to try to get 3 coins, and that plan is getting closer and closer to happening. But we're not buying anything up here at 104. It's actually done a lot better. It was just at 103.9, and I was like, maybe the weakness today is in crypto, and it doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like it's trying to go higher right now. So I know all aboard, honestly, the Bitcoin train, all aboard NASDAQ and everything. It's been a great run early today. Will we pull back as this day happens? I think early there's a good chance for pullback, but maybe it doesn't, man. And it just keeps on rocking. And at which point we're going to look back and say, wow, 104 was a decent price. Hi, Ramin. 104 was a good price there on BTC. So yeah, we'll wait for some pullbacks.
All right, all aboard the China train? Maybe? I don't know. Almost 8% here for XPeng, leading the way as far as EVs specifically are concerned. NIO lead. Do we even talk about those anymore? I don't know. $21 though, a huge level if you zoom out on XPeng as well. But I mean, everything. Pick one. Huge games. 6.5%. For Alibaba. Right?
Yeah, I was reading an article this morning, Brendo, that the e-commerce, EV manufacturing, and the cloud data business set to be the biggest benefactors of this new trade deal. We'll have to see if that ends up panning out, but that is what the article wrote. You have to keep an eye out for, though, the market optimism. Obviously, it's the tariff easing, short-term trade normalization. We'll keep an eye out on that. But separately, I was reading another article that about 1,700 different manufacturers in the Shenzhen area, which is in the southern southern part near Hong Kong, actually went out of business in the last month as a result of the drop in exports to the United States. So, we didn't hear a lot about it from their media, Brendo, maybe by design, but definitely they were feeling the pressure, and you have to assume that they were definitely motivated to get this deal done.
Apparently. Anyways, more to come. Obviously, more conversations, more details as far as the length and some of the terms on this deal as well. But that being said, everything, guys, China related higher today.
And higher by a bunch, too. So the percent gains are somewhat in line with some of their tech cohorts, right? Like Baba's up 7. I mean, I guess Amazon's up a little bit more than that. But the interesting thing for Alibaba in particular is you actually have a level here of resistance. This lower high was pretty distinct around 135 to 138, and it's more like the 138. So I could see, if you get into that, there I could see some selling coming in. The interesting thing about Baba is it already did a pretty decent dip buy. It went from 34.5 into 32 and has been sort of pulling back in there. I don't necessarily love these guys as much for a dip. There's a lot of names in here that we'll probably, we didn't really talk to people. Well, we'll talk about the chips in a second, I guess. So that's actually a good one. Now we'll talk about the chips here in a second. I know I like Apple. I know I'm looking at Micron and potentially NVIDIA. But when it comes to the Chinese names, I'd almost rather do a mean reversion if we get a strong move into that 138. I feel like if the dip buy's already happened, I don't want to try and double dip there. I'd rather stick with USA tech. If it hadn't done this kind of a move already, I might be a little bit more inclined. But there's just nothing in here for that gap. I like what I see in Apple, where I actually have a level that you can work off of and previous price history. So I feel a little bit safer there. And I think if we get to 138 on Baba, that's where I'd start thinking short today. Today, anyways.
You remember we have the yin and the yang and stuff like that. Yang, here it is right here. This is the daily Chinese bear. You can go the other way as well. But just if you wanted to get some juice in the portfolio here, down 10% right now. So if you like that, yin and yang, so that's yang. And then the other one would be, I guess it's ying, Y-I-N-G? Is that how? No, it's ying.
Yeah, it's yin, I think, maybe.
Yin, yeah, W-I, there it is, yeah, of course, not ying. Right there, yin. So there it is right there. Again, now up 10%. So I just want to bring these to everyone's attention. We do have also K-Web is another big one to look to trade. So I haven't really looked at any levels. Like I said, we're getting a little long here. So we're going to go over and talk about some semis. But just for you guys to note, K-Web, a big one, FXI, yin and yang, two big names to look at in the Chinese space. So just get excited again today. I'm going to stay away from China. I would rather look at FXI, but let's go talk about some semis because only 3 minutes to go and obviously a big trade target. Yeah, quickly. I mean, the story is basically the same. Remember last week, NVIDIA up big time on this H20 story for China specifically. Now we get the follow through here on the weekend headline.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Are we going to get any removal of the restrictions, the the AI diffusion rules, Brando, that have been kind of hurting a lot of these exports? Do we get a pullback on them in the later agreement? Nothing yet.
Yeah, fading out a little bit, those guys, right now for this group.
Yeah, a little bit, I suppose. The market pulled a little bit back, but not much. Look, I like Micron. Right now, Micron gapped 8% to the upside. It's been above VWAP the whole morning, even all these moves. And you can go back to that April top here, like our whatever we want to call that high. I mean, some people can call it Liberation Day turn or whatever it is. But that's about $90. So into anything in front of the 90 to 90 and a half, I'm going to like. I think VWAP is a little bit tight. If there is a sell-off, this provides a nice little dip buy opportunity there between 90 and 95 on Micron. I have like 119 written down for NVIDIA. That would be, I think, a heftier gap move back in. Like I can see Micron pulling that back in because it's a smaller percentage of the move. Whereas NVIDIA, that'd be half the move if it pulled back into 119. So yeah, this one's on my radar today, up 8%, and looking very strong. But all the chips look really strong right now. I mean, they're all gapped similarly.
Yeah, I was thinking about the yin yang twins there. Good point there. I had the grills. I had my grills and everything like that earlier, so I wanted to. So I wrote down NVIDIA here 118. Like we're not going to get like again, we're writing this thing down. We've got the 200 period is down here at 118 at 8 o'clock. But, obviously now we're at 120. It still continues to go higher here. I think we always talk about all hail the king. And NVIDIA really is the right one to trade, in my opinion, today. Back in anywhere for this. I mean, the 200 period, everything down here on the 5-minute chart is in this 119 to 118 area. So that's actually where I started the bidding right now. I have a bid on NVIDIA of 119 and change there. Marvell, I think, has a lot of juice back there to the upside as well. This bottom was like 45, was it? Yeah, 45, maybe the very bottom. Now up to 65 right there, so 50% back on Marvell. That was obviously a good dip opportunity. We were talking about doing some of that there at $50, didn't do it, but Marvell, a good name as well. I've been trying to go only 104 right now. Apple off the open, and Eli Lilly just continues to make moves higher, right? I mean, it made that move to 740, pulled back into 720 again, now 725. RFK and Trump going to be speaking momentarily, apparently. So we'll wait to see what's going on there. But yeah, with only 10 minutes left, Intel as well, $22. Pretty happy with that one, but that's spiking to the downside now. So, okay, Adara, how's it going? There it is. We do have our big open today with only 3, 2, 1. All right, get long, everybody. Punch long, go nuts. No, we're just going to wait to see what winds up happening. Apple falling back in a little bit into 210 already. So there it goes, a nice move downside right here. I am bidding Apple, but it's not until 206. We have a really low level there. What's going on with NVIDIA? So we're getting that pullback that we sort of thought in the market, but look at what NVIDIA is doing. They're saying pullback NEPA. They're ripping to the upside as well. Palantir, downside tick. Down. We didn't even look at the imbalances. What are we even doing? 119 and change now for Palantir. That's pulling back real nice right there. So weakness early in Palantir. 118.50 a level for
really coming in.
Apple's coming in too. Okay, so this is exactly what we wrote down. We'll look for a move lower off the open. It looks like Apple, good call, Neil. That's giving it to us right now, as is PLTR.
Well, I'll tell you what's not
anything yet.
The chips are a little bit stronger because AMU's move actually was to the upside. So I'm still thinking dip buy with the market coming back in like it is, but we'll have to be a little bit patient here. Apple is screaming, everybody. Screaming down into the 208 level and really starting to pull back in here. I wanted it starting at the 207. We'll see if we get that opportunity. Zim.
Same.
Okay, Zim is
I'm bidding
not
Apple
as big as
206,
I thought.
so you'll be long before.
But let's see if we get, Apple's going to get
Zim,
down there.
what's it?
No, Zim was one of the names I was also looking for. Sorry, Apple's going to come in. Zim shipping, $16 is the level I like. Let's see if it comes in. 15.8 is my out zones, like 15.75, 15.8, but that's above the volume weighted average price and actually looking a little bit better than more or less everything else. It's Apple that's doing the biggest sell-off in here. So here comes, it just broke 208 now.
Wow.
Now heading to 207. NVIDIA's not doing anything. Oh, goodness, we didn't even look at Tesla. Yeah,
we did look at Tesla a little bit when Randy was here, but that was early.
We'll get to Tesla in a bit, but Apple starting to, it's trying to put in a little bit of a bid here, but it's still very, very heavy. I'm sitting...
It's a big move down.
Yeah, it's a big move down. I'm sitting here at...
I might try some Palantir. I mean, it's just it's
turning right in front of my order.
It's a big move. So we'll go long first position right now on Palantir down into 118, but we are still going a lot lower, it looks like, but we're long at 118.20s, 118.15 now on Palantir. So let's ring some register if we can. We just got something out there at 118.50 before this had that move down. The low on Palantir right here. We're going to try to respect whatever that low is. 118 break, or there it goes. Let's go. Hopefully we do get this move higher now for us, and we'll be laughing on PLTR. Here it is, man. A nice little early winner right now on Palantir. Let's see what winds up happening. But yeah, right now the market just a little tipsy-turvy. We called a pullback, but the pullback's in right now. We're looking to go long TQQs as well, if that does break above 65.50, where VWAP is on the NASDAQ. But hey, that's just an early bump. I don't know what's going bump in the night, but the market is falling down, and Palantir is kind of joining it right now as well.
Well, I can tell you, forget about Zim, because it's like 17. It's just squeezing right now on Zim. You just cancel. If it drops 10%, I'm not going to be sitting on the bid of this thing if it gets down there. So yeah, Zim shipping, I forget the exact name of it. Zim something shipping holdings, whatever.
Zim
I'm just like, I'm baffled as to how the market is pulling back the way that it is, and we're not going to be able to get any of that. So Apple really starting to churn in here. The way that it sold off we get into the volume weighted average price, not making this mistake like we did with NVIDIA the other day. We want to make sure we grab any turn off of the volume weighted average price here. Micron's absolutely churning, so the chips are strong. The shipping names are strong. I got to get to Tesla at some point here, but yeah, you're starting to run into a bit of resistance. I want to see this VWAP get at least tested here at 209.
Yeah, good look there. I'm going to, oopsies, I still want to have a buy order in on Apple.
Market is really weak.
Yeah, 210. Yeah, is it? Yeah.
NASDAQ is weak right now.
Yeah, you're right. The NASDAQ is falling down pretty nicely there. All right, so we take one hit on Palantir, man. We tried to go 118. We lost it. It came out. So that was an early take there. Good look, obviously, on Apple as that's trying to rip up. The other name that was really hard move higher early was Amazon, and that's trying to, as well, try to hold in and around this VWAP and pre-market lows of 208. So this is a pretty good level right there. I was waiting for the TQs again to make a little bit of a move higher through 65.50 VWAP, but that doesn't look like it wants to happen just this moment. Palantir is now breaking below 117, so that's going to be a level. We'll have to let the Qs try to settle down a little bit. If it does bump up, then we will take that. Right now, what's flying around on my radar, Shopify, we talked about that maybe at $100. Welcome everybody, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you're here with us. But there goes Shopify into 99. It bounces off 100. We called 100 long on that one, but that was obviously tricky to do. Down 4% off the open. Good move there. Palantir just took 117 again. Waiting for Apple to go through 110, to be honest with you. But Palantir might not, 210, sorry. Palantir might not find a bottom, so we're going to wait on Palantir. That's tanking.
Well, the market might not find a bottom just yet. Right. So Apple couldn't get to that 210. It actually just curled at 209. It's heading right back in there. So I'm going to try the dip buy, same place. If we can get that 7 again, the market is looking incredibly weak. It's just weird to me because it's like can't get into Micron, which is breaking out the highs. This is a difference. Like market at the low, Micron breaking the highs, Zim breaking the highs. Tesla, on the other hand, is really filling the gap in to the downside, down to like 314. So this is one of those moments where you just have to be, it's like be in the right stocks. So I want to be patient here with Apple. It's still, like I see it trending down right now. And until that reverses, I don't want to be fighting it when there were stocks I like to the long side, which are breaking out and going ham to set upside. I see people talking about SMCI as well in the chat. So when you're grouping things, like look at these guys go. Like they're holding VWAP and looking incredibly strong as well. So the chips, you can divide them into a couple of groups here. Not everything is flying the way you would expect it here. Oh yeah, there is that KNDY stock. There were a couple of crypto-related like mergers that are small caps. Dude, it's not KNDY. What the heck? No, it's something.
KDLY, I think it is.
It's KDLY. KDLY, that's the one. So a couple of crypto-related mergers, and this one just, was it halted? It looks like it was just, it was down halt and it just reopened. So these are absolutely flying to the upside as well. So patience with Apple. I do still want to be long this thing, but the way it's sold off and it's not bouncing, not a huge fan of it. Micron's coming into VWAP. Zim's starting to come back in, so I'm going to try and buy some dips in those bad boys. We're sitting at 207 again for Apple. And I'm going to wait for the volume-weighted average price here on Micron because it doesn't look like we're getting 90 even on this. 9%.
I know, crazy moves. So you just talked about Micron. I'm into two new. Thank you, Fabian. 12,000 of you watching. Wow. Okay, here we go. 15 cents, not huge. Let's wait to see what winds up happening with NVIDIA, the new name that I'm in right now as that's trying to go. And we do have a new player as well. We wrote down SMR on the sticky note today at 18. That just came in and we didn't get any out as I was wondering if we sort of might have had a little bit of a bottom, but we're going to sit around 20s now, see if we can get something out. But here we go, man. If NVIDIA breaks 121.50, it's the low of the day, which is why I sort of picked it. It's been bouncing. Oh, there it goes. Too bad it's going to drop out. But I was going to say, that's the name that I was looking at that low of the day for NVIDIA. We may have just got stopped out there on the low, but it looks like it wants to go lower right now, breaking. So we're out of that one on a 121.50 break. That might be a little early on that one. Palantir also trying to bounce around now as well. Just made that high. We went short 118 and out a little bit there at 70. So they made a little bit back there, but we were trying to go long on NVIDIA, and that's falling out. What's up, Adara?
just keep an eye here on the market. Donald Trump is set to deliver this press conference. It was supposed to start at 9:30 a.m. alongside Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., who is, of course, the Health and Human Services Secretary. So stay tuned for that. Once that press conference begins, I will let you guys know, and I'll provide any updates. Back to you.
Well, we're starting to drop now. This is what happens when you don't have any short ideas.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Well, I mean, if we popped, I liked Alibaba, and I kind of liked Merck. Whoops.
Market getting merked.
That's a New York stock, but Merck. Look at this bad boy fly. Like you want to mean revert. Like you saw what happened to Eli Lilly. Those names are really, really churning to the upside here. So Eli Lilly, Merck, probably Pfizer as well, but crazy, crazy action. All right, here comes Apple. I mean, ultimately, I'm not even getting filled in Micron. Oh, never mind. I just got Micron back in VWAP, but here comes a 207 test on Apple. So for the first time today, we're in something that isn't Apple. And it's trying to bounce off this Oh, it is. It's right back at 207. I'm going to try and get that reload in there. And then Micron at VWAP as well. So MU up a boatload, but testing the volume weighted average price. If we lose pre-market support at 92.5, then this one comes out. But this was relatively strong, so I feel pretty decent about this. Holding VWAP while the market held some of those lows. So the high is 94 change. I want to make sure we're scalping something out into that because the market is deciding to sell the news here. And you're seeing it live.
Yeah, for sure. We decided to get right back into Palantir off of NVIDIA off of 121. The name we should have got back into, I meant Palantir, because that bottomed down. Now, whether or not we're going higher now, I'm not sure. I don't mean like we need to hop into it right now, but watch out for that as being a new low. Here we go. Let's go. A little bit back now on NVIDIA. Let's take some more out here at 121.50 as looks like we just bounced off of there. We're still into SMR. Obviously, we haven't got any outs there yet either. But NVIDIA 121.31, just to let you guys know, we got a 48 fill there on the upside. We're looking to get one more of those, and then we'll see if we can get a little bit higher into the 70s after this, and let's see if we can make that back on an early dump there on NVIDIA. We'll see if that can get going. You just mentioned Merck, Eli Lilly bouncing around as well. An ETF that, I've liked for a minute, hasn't really performed that well is XBI. And you can see right there as the biotechs are going upside. Let's figure out, as I see Randy out of the corner of my eye, let's see Tesla. Tesla dumped City and now trying to get back upside. Maybe a 316 or so take there on Tesla could be something that we're watching out for. But there goes NVIDIA flying to the high side. So that's going to be a good take. 314 on Tesla is the bottom. We'll watch out for that. But here we go. Come on, NVIDIA. Let's go. We'll see if we get another piece out here at 50s. There it goes. Now we'll see if we can fly higher here, Randy, as we get back to the upside. Man, I saw gas prices were pretty expensive here this morning driving in. 110 right now for ExxonMobil, but I got my worries here with NVIDIA all. But Apple's down at 207. That's probably a good pickup again.
Well, it bounced off 207, this time only to the $0.50 as, look, the last time it was kind of clean. It flew right up to 209, and now you're right back at that low. So I want to see the strength start to come into this a little bit more. I'm actually offering north side 08 here after getting the $0.50. Let's see how far we can bounce because the market, I mean, look, let's pull up the cues. Because right now, whoops, why is it still up? There we go. The market has yet to put in a green candle and we're downward trending. So you can't fight this thing forever if we're just going to continue this off the open range. Like Micron bounced VWAP, goes right into the $0.50, goes 93, just like Apple, into the $0.50, and then breaks the volume weighted average price to the downside. So I don't want to fight it. I want to see us round off the bottom, show a little bit more strength, something along those lines. Because there goes Apple. Apple just broke 207.
Oh my gosh.
So we got the first bid was clean to 09. Second one, I add on the way up. It can't break the $0.50. Now you're breaking the low. So it's going to have to back off and be a little bit more patient than we thought we were going to be. The dip and rip has not been super clean in here. And if you just look at those pharma names, like, my goodness, like, trend back up on Eli Lilly. We showed you guys what was happening over there in Merck. Merck's at $80 right now as it continues to go. The only long that I haven't had a chance at that I'm not even jazzed to get is that Zim. Like, Zim is at least holding that pre-market low, but the way that we're trending down, it's 945. Can allow this to calm down a little bit, but make that rounded bottom, put in some higher lows, show me that we're going to get a little bit more strength. So I'm still looking at the same three names: Micron, Apple, this is not a New Zealand stock, and Zim. but I just want to see a little bit more strength. If I'm bottoming tail wick, I don't mind taking a third shot at it after we've broken out of this trend. So you just be patient. Oh, there's also that GRYP along with that other crypto-related merger stock. And those have been halting all over the place. Their GYRP is also moving. Chill Vibe saying Palantir is kind of strong.
Yep, it is.
I do want to look at Palantir at some point, but that might have been a bottoming tail at that 07 on Apple. And if it closes above, then I'm going to try to get back into this long opportunity. Right now the market's still a little bit heavy, but the Nasdaq's up 3%. Not doom and gloom here.
No. I don't think there's any doom and gloom here. But yeah, it is a little bit of a pullback. We'll take another L on NVIDIA going long, but now we'll try. I mean, they're L's, but like we're capturing profits on the way back up. It's just, it's not giving us like, you know, we're getting stopped out on a much bigger percentage. Like the most we're getting out is like 10, 15% because waiting for a bigger move back. So a couple bids there. Okay, here goes NVIDIA right now. We're long 30 cents in, but we'll wait to see if that goes. You're 100% right about the strength in Palantir. We'll see if we can get some strength here in SMR. That's another name. Looking elsewhere, what about Uber? They were pretty weak last week. We sort of talked about the demise of Uber last week a little bit. Their Lyft was going upside. Uber was coming back in. So nice little dip buy opportunity today. Maybe an Uber down 1%, or sorry, up 1%, but down on the day, right back into VWAP. So Uber is a kind of a good look there. As yeah, man, XBI and some of these healthcare names continue to climb a little bit higher. Thanks, Randy, for the reload as that is coming. We had Palantir early, and I do think that this one could be the play for sure to battle us back here on Palantir. I actually was bidding 117.50s. I still actually 117.40s. I'm now to look at it right back in, but we've missed that bid. But here we go, 50 cents back. Let's take another piece out here. There it is. We take out some 40s there on NVIDIA. Maybe this can climb and be the one 100. That we want. Again, Shopify back to 100. Okay, so that would be a good little look. We're watching NVIDIA now. We have at least a little bit here down near the bottom.
Yeah, I just reloaded in Micron, which held the low, but Shopify is now holding the $100 level. So remember, it was pullback 99 technically. If you go to a 15-minute chart, 99, there's your prior resistance level, but it just bounced off that and also bounced off 100 and trying to put in some higher lows. But MU just came in here. I know Shop has its own story as well. Remember, they're being added to the NASDAQ end of the week, so effective on Monday. So they got their own story. So holding on to pre-market lows is Micron. I've jumped back in. Want to be adding to this if it can hold above the volume-weighted average price and see if we can't get this one to continue going. And then Zim is the only one I have not traded into. That's back above VWAP here. Starting to look a little bit more constructive or better. I hate the constructive term. Something analysts say a lot. Looking a little bit better. Nice rounded bottom if we can hold the volume weighted average. So I want to see this close the 3-minute above this VWAP, or I'm still waiting for us to test closer to 16 even. So still going to play a little bit of a patience game. I did think the Chinese ADRs were, well, I thought BABA was a short at 138. I don't think we're going to see that today in this kind of weakness. BABA might turn into a shorted at the pre-market high instead of waiting for some price that's never going to get there today anyways. So yeah, strong gaps up in the market that haven't held the way you would like. Just a matter of trying to figure out that next move. Are we going to break trend here and we can jump back into some longs, or are we just patiently waiting for this downward trend to continue and give us a better opportunity at some lows? Really, the only first good move for me was that first Apple look. Everything else since then, we're still trending down.
Yeah, I'm going long here. Palantir is a monster. I'm going to try to go long Palantir if we break 119. That's where VWAP is. So if that goes all the way back up, man, we had a 116 bottom there. Now it's just Rip City on that, man. SMR, maybe we could take something out now. It's only 11 cents. I'm still trying to wait for a little bit more. NVIDIA's been the one that's pulled back a little bit here as well. So that's also pulling back, as is the market right now. So I'm still waiting for that. Palantir, I don't want to punch the top, but I also don't know where the top is. So if we can get, bless you, if we can get a move up through here, 119, I'm going to go long, and I'm just going to try to get out, only hold this 50 cents. So if this breaks back down below us, then we're going to get out and hopefully not be a disaster. We're not trying to push huge amount of shares here at all or anything with that one. The Tesla selling, people are telling us here in the chat. It's heavy, but it's okay, though. Still up 5%, still trying to hold that 312 area there for Tesla. I think Palantir is going to be the one that we get into next. Tesla 309 or so, a decent level there. We have 310 coming happening on the 200 period, sorry, on the 50 period 5-minute mark. So that looks like a decent opportunity to buy some Tesla as we were up at 320 back into 310. So maybe that FOMO is getting away from a lot of people here this morning as the markets pull back. I mean, it's literally exactly what we wrote. I was waiting for a little more dramatic, I guess, and it doesn't look like that's happening. So yeah, maybe it is time to start to buy. Look where Amazon is, man. Amazon's right at the 200 on my chart on a 1-minute chart. So it is pulling back down a little bit here, is Amazon. So that could be a good buy against that low of 205 if we're looking for dip buy opportunities. But the next trade for me is going to be Palantir because it's in there right now. So here we go. We're now long Palantir. Let's see if we can get going. We're going to give it down to 118.50 or so on PLTR, but we're long in this name. Hopefully it doesn't just completely collapse against me, but it's worth the risk, I think, there. We're buying a little late on it. 118 pullback is possible. We'll average it in at 118.50, but so far, Palantir, we just got in it right there. I said it wasn't going to be a huge trade, so let's wait to see if we get something back here at 118.50 on Palantir, but I like the movement on that. All right, let's get something out here at 34s on NVIDIA, so we'll just do that for a pullback, and let's just chant and cheer for PLTR because maybe this is the one for us. Wouldn't be surprised if we can get back first out maybe 119.80 or so. Let's see if we can get that PLTR trying to go, average it back at this 118.50. Then if we lose 118, then I think we might as well be cooked on Palantir. So we'll wait to see if that comes in, man. A loss of 118 is my stop. I'm going to put it in right now. New position.
Yeah, and well, it's not, Micron's not new, but a new position in Zim here. Micron's trying to bounce off 92 and the pre-market low. Zim just held on to the volume-weighted average price after bouncing 16.6. If it loses 16.6, I'm out and waiting for that 16 area. So you're getting a little bit of pep in the NASDAQ step here. Apple, I thought was going to be a good reload at 07, but you know, after getting ticked out, I didn't want to chase the moves. I'm still waiting for the 07 level to come back. You're still very much trending to the downside here. So Zim's a new one. Micron, we've already been in this one for a little bit. And let's go to Adara, see what we have going on at the desk.
Yeah.
It has to do with the fact that Donald Trump, about 20 minutes late here, has stepped onto the stage for his press conference with RFK Jr. I also want to mention here, if you're looking at small caps, GRYP on watch. This one was mentioned earlier today. Griffin Digital set to take American Bitcoin public through a merger deal. So GRYP on watch here, as well as all of these pharma names, because we are expecting a pharma-related announcement with regards to drug prices from this press conference. It is starting now. I'll be covering it. I'll let you guys know. Back to you.
Adara. All right, so I was just saying to Neil, like I get into one and the other one goes down. All right, so we're still watching, obviously Palantir's pulling back, like thanks Palantir. But NVIDIA right now is going. So what we're making on NVIDIA, we're losing on Palantir, and that's what I was saying, trader's dilemma, of course. But there it goes now to the upside is NVIDIA. So because Palantir's been, it hasn't been too much of a rough ride, but it is a little bit. We're long right now 118.70 or 80s. We talked about trying to dip buy in there into the 50s, so we did get that dip buy, but again, you know, trying to hold out for a Palantir move higher into the 80s would be pretty nice. Oh no, we're right there right now. So let's offer. Oh, still looking at NVIDIA. Okay, there we go. We got some 88s out right now on Palantir. We'll see if we can get anything in the near the O's, and then maybe we go a little bit higher. But there's Palantir off of a nice dip buy. Let's see if there's any follow through in the market. We're getting it on NVIDIA. You're long this Zim stock there.
Well, I actually just punched out of Micron, but
all right.
No, that was probably the wrong call. It's still trending down, lower highs and all that good stuff, but my gut was like, let it get above the volume-weighted average price. You got the dip, and now it's into VWAP. When Apple got into VWAP, it was a pretty clear turn. And all right, on that note, like, see what I mean? Like Apple was a pretty clear turn. Now it's all the way back at the 207 level. So I just got the dip back into Apple and out of Micron in front of 93, although Micron's looking incredibly strong at this point. Mr. Long Shorts, I haven't looked at ARM, but I'm glad to see it's holding up well, at least according to you there. So that would be good.
Long Short.
207, if we make a fresh low on Apple, every time makes a fresh low, I'm willing to get out. Just a couple of cents underneath it. You give it a little bit of room, but not a heck of a lot more. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're still trending down on a boatload of stocks. And then I go back to Micron. Micron, yeah, this might be going. It might be going. We can get some higher lows there. And I will look at ARM for you, Mr. Long Shorts.
Mr. Long
Yeah, look, it's about the same chart as Micron. holding the volume weighted average price. You had a dip early, and the dip is a higher low now. So relative strength, I 100% agree. Putting in higher lows when the market was making fresh lows and trying to hold on to VWAP. But Micron was the one on my list because of the percent gain and where it was going. Next available dip, I'm adding back into this, or back into Apple as well. And then as you said, like it's like one goes, the other doesn't. Zim, which is New York, not ZM. Zim, which is New York, just lost its support levels. So it's like you get the bounce on Apple, you get the bounce on MU, and then the third one decides it wants to break lower. So yeah, fail for you, Zim. And at least until it gets to 16, I'm going to back off this. You want to stick with the ones that are going and working, and be able to back away from the ones that aren't.
Yeah, so first dollar club for me today is right here with NVIDIA, because there it goes, man. We take the dollar and it's starting to rip up higher here. So good little bottom pick, obviously, on NVIDIA. But, you know, the story, I hope, is not over, because we've taken some hits here. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher. The market is really rallying now off of some of those bottoms. We did say an early move down was something that we were looking for. So, yeah, buddy. Look what's happening right here with SMR. Let's go, man. This is another one. We'll fire off the hot dog cannon on this one. Another call for us on SMR. I was waiting there at 34s. Let's see if that can get higher. But there goes NVIDIA now, 122. I'm going to take out some more as we continue to get up there for NVIDIA. So a couple good takes there. And of course, Palantir going Oppo right now. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here in AAPL. Apple on watch. Donald Trump just mentioned here that Tim Cook of Apple apparently spoke to Trump this morning, and then he stopped just short of out and out saying that Tim Cook and Apple are going to up their $500 billion investment in the U.S., but he did say here that Apple is building a lot of plants in the U.S. So potentially we this could be on watch here with an investment increase, but Donald Trump stopped just short of announcing that and just said that he and Tim Cook are in talks. They're building in the U.S. He also just said here that he'll speak to Xi of China, quote, at the end of the week, maybe. So more potential talks here between President Xi of China and President Trump here of the U.S., as indicated here.
Pretty good. And then now here's the mark again falling back in. So yeah, we keep trying Palantir. I still think it's the one, but you know, too many tries, and at some point, you know, you got to leave it a little bit alone. But we're down here to 1750. Oops, that's still NVIDIA, sorry. It's coming back in right there. Again, that's still NVIDIA. Why isn't my charts ever changing when I do that?
I was hitting it twice.
Yeah, I'm hitting it twice or three times, it seems like. There's the long up to VWAP. There's the re-long, and then there's the drop as it breaks through 118. But looks like 117.50 does have something there. Well, we can see about a bid for this stock. Again, I just think it's going to go. And we've been wrong, so it doesn't really matter what I think right now. But Palantir is dropping into these levels. We could see if it holds this 117. That bottom is a little bit too low, man, 116.50. But here comes Palantir screaming lower.
Moves.
Yeah, the moves are pretty big today.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe
IBIT was just breaking out 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like, yeah, Bitcoin's going. I was over at Mara. I'm like, okay, let's get some continuation plays going and things that are actually strong here. And the second I'm thinking euphoric, it pulls right back in almost a full point into the volume weighted average price. So, I mean, that's still, let the opening range settle. That's what I feel about Zim right now. Like if I get back into Zim, I have to, you know, maybe I don't have to, but I'm going to wait till 10 o'clock. It's still trending down. It's holding pre-market lows. That's about 16.2. I liked it to 15.8 anyways, so, or 15.8 to 16, so I think patience is going to make sense. Apple, I mean, Trump headline or not, or whatever, hit with Tim Cook, it's been bouncing off the 07.
The hookster.
Did I? Oh, I said Tim Hook, didn't I?
Oh, that's funny, that's all. I like it.
Tim Hook.
The hookster.
Yeah, Tim Cook. Yeah, that's you talk long enough, you're gonna make some brain farts all the time. But yeah, it's holding the 07 regardless. This could be the first break of resistance if it can get through the volume weighted average price. I'm looking for places to add to this on Apple, but there's been no sign of anything but 07 holding as far as I'm concerned. And if it cannot hold on to this 08 half zone, I should be jumping out of it. It's just way too much weakness. And the way that they're selling things off on these pops, it's like it's going down faster than it's going up.
Yeah.
That's the concerning thing, is at least for now, most things are going down faster than they're going up. It's not everything out there in the market. If you look at Tesla in here, like its strongest candle outside of that dump at the open was actually a green one, but it just lost the VWAP as well. So just a little more patience, I think. I like what's happening in Bitcoin, and I don't want to forget about Mara, because we did I liked Mara for the long side, the first time in a while, and I'm going to slap the fail for an obvious reason. Where did Mara pull back into, everybody? Friday high. Look at the turn, exactly the Friday high. So dip back into prior support held, but that also means continuation play here off of volume weighted average price, or even the support at 16.5. I should already be in this one. It actually set up better than Zim.
We were waiting for 118.25s now, so we do have now back in the money 50 cents here on Palantir. But again, like, this is the problem with today. It's like I'm waiting for these bigger moves, and when they don't happen, I wind up, punching out of the majority of the trade. So we're only out of 10% now as this goes higher. So if we do collapse in, I'm gonna have to take. I just offered some 04s. I'm gonna have to take some more out because I'm just like, there we go. The same thing just happened again. Oh, did we get those 04s? Oh, maybe we got those 04s when I offered them. Okay. Oh, no, we didn't. That's my first offer. Yeah, that's my first offer at 05. We didn't get our second one. That's still pending there. So, yeah, it's just like the market starts to go a little bit, and I'm thinking like, okay, maybe do we have a little bit of a bid happening right there? We did take out VWAP. I punched long at 119. We averaged that in. The average in was great. It's the initial punch that was wrong, and that, sending this now back in. So, again, dip buying, playing momentum, working, but the dips are continuing now. So I'm not going to average back into this one until we get much closer to 117 because the dip buys are happening for real right now on some of these markets, and including NVIDIA. We're going to wait to see what happens there. The TQs, a quick little shot now at the NASDAQ, and just have a quick look. Almost back into the day's low again. For this, we've already talked about a lot lower. If we're going to do anything, I'm still bidding 62s, I believe, anyways, on this. That's going to be still a ways away. 63 might be a bit better, but right now we continue to lose here on individual stocks. There goes Palantir right back down in again. It's fine. We're able to get some off. It's not like a big, huge position here, but no continuation for some of the plays that I've been looking at right now. That is for sure. It's 10 o'clock, though. We'll see if we can we just got a little bit of a dip by there in Palantir. Let's see if we continue this move, or if there is a bounce in the market. Let's go back over the desk and see what ADRs all about.
This headline on Watch right now, again, CNBC and various outlets reporting that Donald Trump's going to be signing an executive order to cut some U.S. drug prices to match the prices of these items abroad. Now, this press conference is happening right now, but as of yet, he has not mentioned drugs other than to mention how they play a role in the China tariffs. Now, in case you missed it, U.S. and China pausing reciprocal tariffs, though Trump mentioning that some of these tariffs are still actually going to be on. We kind of knew that already, but interesting note here. If we get anything about the pharmaceutical tariffs, I will let you guys know right away. But as of right now, pharmaceutical prices have not been mentioned during Trump's comments. Here's Shopify. Shopify going to be added to the NASDAQ 100. So keep an eye on SHOP, said to be added to the index next week. Here's Eli Lilly, Moderna, and a whole host of other pharmaceutical names on watch, again, as Donald Trump is set to potentially sign a related executive order. PDD and a lot of these other Chinese ADRs on the move here after the China and U.S. 90-day tariff pause. Again, that's only the reciprocal tariff, so the U.S. does still have a 30% tariff on China as a whole, even after this pause. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and stay tuned. Back to you.
I know.
Thank you, Adara. Yeah, it's just a lot happening right now, and what's crazy about it is, like, the one stock you might think would be maybe the most active for day traders haven't even looked too much at Tesla, and it's starting to look like it's in the bucket of strength, at least higher lows being put in and potentially breaking out. As I look over, it's like you see one thing starting to go, and we want to see some confluence throughout the market. I'm not really finding it. Like, it's a very much a stock picker. It's like, what are you in right now? Apple is trending into the volume weighted average price. So if it loses VWAP, anytime it's trending like this into the volume weighted average price in an overall downward trending market, downward trending action off the open, if it loses VWAP and trend, I get out and wait for the 07 again. I got into Mara, and I saw someone in the chat saying, well, why don't you look at MSTR? I haven't looked at MSTR. I just like Mara technically. This breakout over a prior high, I'm like, if it holds on to 16, that looks really good. So that's why I'm into Mara. Well, it held on to that prior high. It's bouncing off VWAP and heading toward the high of the day. Bitcoin's holding solidly at 104 quarters right now. So as long as we can hold that trend and be relatively strong, I like the things above VWAP better than the ones under it. That's an easy thing to say at 10 o'clock, but I find it's a good way to separate things. So if we curl here, which it looks like we are on Apple, and are going to lose 209 again, that means any 207 dip buys are running into trouble at 09. At a moment where the NASDAQ is consolidating in a downward trend under the volume weighted average price. Like the market is failing to break this trend down. Like I want to see us close this candle green ideally. I'd rather be buying things on trend above VWAP instead of catching these falling knives. There's a good chance we could be turning here, but until I see some things start to hold distinct higher lows, Apple's looking great. I think it churns into 210 if it can hold the volume weighted average price. And Mara going with Bitcoin, at least for now, I should say, right? Because said that before, and then you get that big reversal candle on a lot of names. The chips, some of the early strength is gone, so Micron not looking as good as it was before, but Apple's certainly working now.
All right, it's taking out some Palantir on the high side there. We do understand that. We do see what you guys are talking about with audio problems. Just refresh the browser. Like, there's only two options here you have to do is either refresh or refresh. So I'm gonna hit the refresh.
C, third option
on that one there. If you want that, Fabian and Andre working on audio issues for us. But over 12, well, we were just 12,000, 11,000 right now watching. We want to say thank you to everybody. Hit the like, man. Hit the subscribe and all that. 11,200 watching, only 1.1. That's only 10%. That's pretty good math, right? 10% of you are hitting the like button. That needs to get a little higher than that right now. So please do that if you can as we're getting some more news. And thanks to Dara for dropping all the news to us as it's happening here live on the stream. So hit the like button. We'll check back on that in just a couple minutes. But wow, what I am not liking is this move down. And again, look, we just got some out at 118, man. Now you're down to 116. I almost said 50s, 116.90 right there on Palantir. So yeah, man, this name is really goes bump in the night, and it's a little scary, and that is PLTR. It's bumping my net to the downside right now as we keep trying to buy this name. Not really sure why. It's weak today for sure. It's just giving us good feels every time the market bounces. Palantir seems to get on the back of it, but you know, the market right now just didn't retest lows, but 3 minutes ago we were about 5 handles away from 30 handles away. Looks like 5 on this, but a little bit away from those lows. So be careful here, trying to dip by many of these names. SMR, we're still waiting for 1750, but again, a good out there as we got right back into pre-market lows sort of, but SMR ahead of earnings also coming down a little bit now as well. We're only out of about 25% or so of SMR as that is bleeding a little bit. So a good reload there, not even a reload, just sort of a DCA dollar cost average here into PLTR and then an out, right? So like we just bought 90s, out 30s again, but still not better than my average price. It's kind of like just licking the wounds right now on Palantir as the market is really falling. We said we didn't have too many short ideas, wish we had, other than wait. And it's like it's 10:06, and like my short idea was wait for lows, right? I mean, we had written down Apple around 206. That only got to 207, now right back up there to 209 as Apple looks like it wants to get going. So why not PLTR? Come on, Palantir, man. We're waiting for that name to go. We've still got 40 cents on NVIDIA, which isn't bad. I'm going to take some out here at 25 if we can get that, because we just bumped into 40s again right there. There we go. We'll get it on NVIDIA. So yeah, just trying to hold out, Neil, to see if there's anything strong in this market, but we are getting cooked a little bit on the long for Palantir. That's the only one that's been a problem for us really so far because there's no bleed, there's no stopping right now. Tesla, again, like we just picked Palantir off the bottom. Everything else is ripping except for that. So maybe it has some pickup in it, but for right now, Tesla continues to work almost back to highs. Like we're not going
to. Going to.
Yeah, exactly. Like the market's trying to go. When I say highs, obviously the high of the day was the market open, right? But you know, you're starting now to get back into some levels that have been supported right there. So let's see if, I mean, it's going to be resistance right now, but above VWAP, let's see if we can take out that resistance and create some kind of support. So I'm just going to sit here, wait for Palantir to go because it's really lagging right now. And that's the kind of stuff that we're looking for, you know, relative strength and weakness. More outs here on NVIDIA because it's right at the highs that we've been at as well in the last 10 minutes. So let's get something out here on NVIDIA. We just might have missed that top. And here goes Palantir finally turning around for us a little bit.
Yeah, the market's creeping. NASDAQ's creeping into the volume-weighted average price. Apple's holding this trend. So if we get back underneath the trend line, which is connecting over VWAP right now for myself, I'm talking about the trend since it made the fresh low. We were stopped out once here on Apple. That's Sean's chart. If we come to mine for a quick little second. Yeah, come to my chart for a second. So we were stopped out once, and the third time in, I'm holding for the trend line. The other thing that's happening here, though, is like Mara's pulling back in. Like we're going higher in some places, and we're pulling back in others. So it's very much the same as before, where you're getting strength for a hot minute in a couple of places, and everything looks good, and then something else starts to sell off, and the joining happens. If we get back and bounce off VWAP, I'll add back into this. Like I don't mind taking the bounce, but I'd rather see a top or bottoming tail candle or a consolidation here and then jump into more long. I like what's going on overall in this bounce, but I look at Bitcoin doing the same thing off the volume weighted average price. IBIT's going sideways off VWAP. So, and this just starts to creep higher. I don't want to chase it too far. And the only other, outside of this and Zim, Micron was the other long that I liked out of the chip names.
Comes the market again.
And it's like, what is it doing? A whole lot of nothing. No continuation off of VWAP, which means wait for that low again like we had at 92. So I'm trailing out on trend break of Apple. I'm out underneath VWAP on Mara, and I'm not fighting if we don't break this trend on the NASDAQ and the overall market, I'm not fighting this for too much longer. And I still don't really have any feels for the short. It's just a matter of where can we get the most out of most profit out of these longs. That's what I want to see. I'm not going to let this break underneath trend and then hold it to the low. I'll just get back in at 207 if I have to on Apple, and we'll wait for a lower price on Mara if it can't get there. Yeah, 1320 Wolf. This, I feel exactly like you do right now. We just need a tweet. I feel like maybe we just need some kind of like a positive reinforcement somewhere to get this market to make that next leg up, because there's some strong stocks out there, but there's not enough confluence, or I don't know what the word is. Like you're only getting a few names strong, and we're not getting enough to give us that continuation to break out. I think that's part of the problem here. You can get some individual longs that work for a while, but we're not really going haywire. Part of it has to do with how far we gapped, I suppose.
All right. Thank you, Bears vs. Bulls. Keep us posted, because if other people are going to complain about mic issues, we just want to know. But he's not hearing anything, so
okay, that's good.
So that's a good one there. Make sure you guys do double check your connections, of course, with us, and refresh. We've already sort of have that up there. So thank you, everybody, for that. All right. So we bought some more Palantir at the bottom. Whether or not it's the bottom or not, I don't know. We just talked about that. What am I doing with Meta right here? That's not the Canadian one. We don't want the Canadian one. Let's go over to Meta US again. So here we go. Beautiful. Like, just looking at the wrong names, because like we play off the 200 period, all the time. And look what Meta's done here today. 622, like it falls in. If you were buying off the 200, you're probably long there. You may take out a buck or so. It drops all the way back in. That would be another reload spot. 622, let's just say you hit 626, you get reloaded one more time again, and then you start to rip up to the high side into 630 again. So yeah, Meta really, really looking nice off of some technicals there. So great look there for Meta. Thank you, everybody, for bringing that one up. The biggest of the bear AI for me right now, let's go for Big Bear AI. It's not doing anything, up 5%. I just wanted to show that to you. If there's any sort of rippers going on, yeah, Loblaws, isn't that LOB? Well, here, hold on a second.
No, it's
it's in Canada, right? It's crazy. I don't even know the own symbols here for Canadian names. But I'll have to get. Isn't it L? Is it LOB? Loblaws.
Why don't I
know?
It's not. It's just L.
It's just L. Okay. I was going to say we should know. Yeah, there it is. Loblaw. Loblaw.
Well, that's.
You know who owns Loblaw? Bob.
What?
Bob owns it.
Oh.
Bob Loblaw. Bob Loblaw. That's like an old joke that my grandfather used to say to me about Loblaws there. He was like, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, all right. So Palantir goes blah, 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 to the upside as well a little bit right now. Let me take out something here in the 30s, just because we had just bought in the 80s again on Palantir, waiting to see if that one goes upside again. But yeah, just joking aside about blah, blah, blah. But yeah, nice move to the downside. This is the major grocery chain here in Canada, and falling back in a little bit. They own many different brands, and No Frills, Shoppers Drug Mart, all that kind of stuff. So again, a major grocery brand coming. What was the other one?
They print as well.
Oh yeah. Well, they're not printing now, but yeah, nice downside play there for Loblaws off the high. I don't know what Bob's doing there, but he's doing something. All right, so. No, you're never going to stop, eh, Joe? All right, so 117 right now going higher. I'm going to get out of another piece right now of this name on Palantir as we cheer on for Alex Karp and company. I'm rating at 58s. There we go. We get that fill right now as Neil's getting some mic work done. Nice upside move there. I was at a crazy wrestling event on Saturday night, man. It was 20-man gauntlet there. I saw old school wrestlers like Rhino and Billy Gunn and some funny guys. Maple Leaf Wrestling or something, entertainment. It was hilarious. It was at old Maple Leaf Gardens. It was fantastic. Thanks, my brother, for that one, man. Brought the kids. It was hilarious right now. But yeah, Billy Gunn. Oh, you didn't know? But that's Road Dogg. Yeah, better call somebody. All right. Yeah, I know that people aren't going to stop with that blah, blah, blah thing either. But yeah, we love Billy and Bart Gunn there. Degeneration X is in the building. Those guys are old dudes.
Give them the DX, baby.
Yeah, I liked, my least favorite DX member was X-Pac. Least favorite.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I liked him. I just liked the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, obviously Triple H, Shawn Michaels there, Kevin Nash.
I liked X-Pac.
Oh, so did I. I liked X-Pac too.
You know what? I didn't have position boards.
I mean, Shawn Michaels.
I don't know that I had a favorite out of the group. I think over time, I started to, I always thought Triple H was a really fantastic heel.
Yeah.
He's just one of the best villains they've ever had, just in terms of what we could do. So just, there it goes. And position board's back.
Boom.
All right. Well, position board's back, so I don't really have to tell you. We're
Mick
in the
Foley,
same too
bang,
long.
bang.
Let's go to Adara. We've got some news.
Keep an eye here on these healthcare names. This is Eli Lilly trying to bounce a little bit here, but still making lower highs, lower lows. Basically, we have Donald Trump saying that his plan here is more about the EU having to pay more for healthcare, and he says he doesn't think that his plan with regards to lowering prices that Americans are paying for drugs should actually impact healthcare companies. So again, Donald Trump framing his policy on paying for drugs in the U.S. is actually not necessarily being harmful for these healthcare companies. Back to you.
We just want to say, I don't know if we have the Studio 8. Can we hit that promo? I don't have it on the board right now because you are hearing quite a bit of noise from the background, and we want to just apologize to everybody because that's what's going to happen around here for a minute. There it is, man. We are taking this studio down. You know, we're kind of like Undertaker throwing Mick Foley off of the Hell in the Cell. It's going to be a rough ride until the downside. So stay with us. Thank you. Those might be, we just realized that might have been some of the mic issues. But we got to clean it up back there. So I don't know if you have, we could show the camera. There it is. So here we go, right? I mean, now that used to be 20 computers. More. At least 20 screens.
It was 4 rows, and now it's like nothing.
Yeah. So, hey, Randy. There's Randy. He's working hard. There's Rob. You guys are on TV now. You could wave or you could not if you don't want to, Randy. Randy does not want to wave. Okay, so there he goes. They are too hard at work. They are literally 5 feet away from us, but yet not.
No, Randy's trying to get on a different
Randy just says, that lighting doesn't look good for me, Randy. So Randy's over there. Right now. Hey, Ancott, wave, Ancott. There's Ancott. He waves. There he goes. What's up, Andrew? Right there, an oldie but a goodie. Those of you at Real Trading may know Mr. Andrews.
Anybody that does it, so basically everybody's nickname would be their trader ID, which is the first few letters of your first name and the first few of your last name. So Andrew was Ancart. Sean was Shikady.
I just didn't want to drop his last name in case, he didn't want to.
Did I say his last name? I didn't say it.
No, he didn't. He came close.
Okay, good. No, you're right. I did come close.
Randy, what's going on over there, Randy?
Look
at this guy.
Man.
These guys got the shorts.
Chilling.
These are the guys, man. Those are the guys over here. It's a beautiful day today in lovely Toronto. Yeah, man, the jorts. I mean,
you've always enjoyed.
Next thing you know, he's going to wear the jean jacket, get that Canadian tuxedo.
Joe, not everybody wears a suit to work into the office here, okay? Some of us like to wear a golf shirt, even though I don't.
Some of us are sponsored by IEX, I mean, this is. Wow. No,
I was at the baseball thing. I had my OTC one.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of looks off that. I'm like,
all right.
I was always curious, but I'm like, just ask me if you want to know what it is, because some of the parents were like, hey, what is that?
Yeah. IEX is not paying for this, so don't ask me about IEX. I don't know what it is. No, shout out to IEX, of course, one of the gateways
We've
out
used
there.
that gateway before. Come on.
Yeah, we have it. It's on there. Sometimes you'll see IEX on our chart. There it is, right here. There's IEX. IEX is right there. There it is. There it is. It's here somewhere. Palantir IEX. Anyways, just another gateway. You'll see it on there every once in a while. I want to thank our friends from IEX for stopping by a couple weeks ago. Yes, no, we are not laying off staff due to tariffs. We don't have any staff. We just have all of our staff right here, right now. And it's been a ride, right? I mean, we want to thank everybody for hitting the like and the subscribe. I mean, we just did this a couple minutes ago, 1.7K. So we'll go awesome. And we'll go awesome again. And then we'll go Ozan Cow right here. As it blows up again. Thank you everybody for hitting that like and that subscribe. As yeah, man, we're here every single day, regardless of Studio 8, regardless of what the market's doing. We're here every single day and having a great time. So we just want to thank everybody for joining us and continue to join us.
Yes.
The midday show is more news. You know, Sharif has his little news segments that he does every once in a while.
More small
It used to be
cappers,
like a little bit of a Fibonacci lesson. They'll throw those in every once in a while.
No more Finabachis.
Yes, no more Finabachis right now. And then we will also talk to Joe about options, trade some small cap runners as well. And then you'll join us back at 2 o'clock, take you into the close and have some more fun. And then we have the market recap show, which every day we'll discuss. And we're getting through, man. Over 90% of companies have reported already.
Yeah, we're going to have Michael back on tonight. Yep. And Mr. Westermeyer, trust me, I forwarded one of our viewers is the first U.S. commercial real estate developer to accept a meme coin for payment.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
he was curious as to Michael's thoughts on it, how that meme coin would, what he thought about it. So it's like that purple Pepe. We'll get more to that a bit later, but before we get to that, the trend just broke on Apple. We held it for the trend. It closed under the trend line and broke the prior bar, so we jumped out of it.
Video. What are you
doing?
Wait.
Like at this point, it could hold VWAP, resume trend by breaking 210, or it could hold VWAP and start something new, or we can wait for the 207 level, which has been the only spot to go long. And in the same moment, and we're going to go to Darren in a quick little second for the small cap recap, there's IBIT losing the volume weighted average price after dancing around a little bit. Mara dropped it and then regained it, so I punched right back in when it wicked out, but still running into the same resistance. Relative strength to Bitcoin, though. Bitcoin going through the volume weighted average price. Mara holding out some of those highs. So that long continuing to work. Wanted to break out the top here, but let's go to Adara for the small cap recap.
Oh, small cap recap.
IWM still gapped up here about 3.5%, but it has given up quite a lot of this push to the upside. Again, not near filling the gap, but certainly not as strong as it was at its peak this morning. The Russell 2000, of course, reacting like the rest of the market to news that the U.S. and China are going to have a 90-day pause for these reciprocal tariffs. Here's Taoping, TAOP. Again, we do have this China-U.S. story on watch. This is actually a Chinese ADR small cap. Not seeing any news on this one, but keep an eye on Taoping. We have WRD, WeRide, definitely running into some resistance just below the $10 level, at least for now. No catalyst, but it is one that's heavily watched by retail investors. NVIDIA announced an investment in this a while back. Last but not least, GRYP. We've talked about GRYP earlier today. Griffin Digital Mining announcing a merger agreement with American Bitcoin this morning. So GRYP, nice push to the upside. Apparently American Bitcoin's also a subsidiary of Hut 8, so keep an eye on HUT as well. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm still listening to President Donald Trump and his press conference right now. Back to you.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Adara. And look, some of those small cappers might be like the best party because I'm seeing the NASDAQ start to roll over. I'm talking about longs. I mean, everything's moving, don't get me wrong. But in terms of looking for the longs, because you're getting lower high on the NASDAQ. We just lost the volume weighted average price, so 208.50 on the NASDAQ, and then the ES 58.4. They're both turning around here a little bit. The good news, at least for this Mag 7 name, Apple's holding on to VWAP. So while it broke trend, the next trade might actually be a higher low play, taking that opening range, this initial bounce high at 209 and turning that into support. At least for now, I'm still thinking we could trade back into the lows and get that opportunity. I still wanted to be long in Micron. That's headed right back into 92. I feel like this one is going to give us another dip into that level. And I haven't really talked too much about AMD, AMD, I don't want to say flat bottom break, but every time I look at a stock and it bounces and I have a line on my chart in front of where it bounces, I'm angry with myself because it means usually that I ignored something on advanced micro devices. So like that 108 is holding pretty nicely. I keep forgetting that this stock has broken above the 50 and is breaking trend to the upside. So if you slap a long-term trend line, this is holding on to it on the upside, despite the fact that it's trending down. So if 108 gets a wick and breaks the trend, I think I should be taking AMD to the long side if we can break this trend line. Let's go to Adair. We have news.
Big drop here with increasing volume for some of these health insurance names, including UNH and HUM. As we know here, Donald Trump set to hold this press conference right now with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., of course, the Secretary of Health and Human Services. He's talked a little bit here about these drug prices, which is the point of this conference. But he just said he's going to be cutting out the middleman when it comes to drug sales. As a result, we do have UNH and HUM, all these health services names, health insurance names falling to the downside. We know they move similarly when Trump's made previous comments about cutting out the middlemen. So keep an eye on health insurance names and pharmaceutical names as Donald Trump has his press conference. He just finished his prepared, or I guess just his opening remarks. Now we have RFK Jr. speaking. If there's any questions or anything else, I will let you guys know. Back to you.
All right, absolutely fantastic. Thanks, Adara. And I mean, in this market, there's nothing wrong with scanning that QR code right there because traders funded by Trade the Pool have been cashing out big. 5,300, 15K, 36K, 29.9 on single trades. Wow, that's pretty impressive on one trade. Nice move. Here's how it works. You pay a one-time evaluation fee starting at just $47. That is your total risk. That's the only cash you're putting up. You trade real shares, of course, not CFDs, and you can garner up to 200,000. I threw that word in there, garner. I hope I
like that.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Using up to $200,000 in company capital. And guess what, man? You keep a hefty 70% of the profits, although today you don't want to keep my profits. No margin call, no account blow-ups. You scan that QR code right there. Let them know you come from Trader TV Live and grab your 10% off. Start your journey today with Trade the Pool. Okay, so yeah, the market be coming back in just a little bit right now. We're gonna try something at least on Palantir as here it comes back in. I was trying to play off the low of the day. It's back here. We've gotten lighter on this trade, so it's obviously gonna be an L here, but these are the levels that I'm trying to buy up into the low of the day as the market comes right back into the 50-period moving average. This stock is down 1% with the market up 3%. Just thought that playing some relative weakness could have sparked if Palantir ever got going, just like, oh my God, you're long at the bottom type of thing. But that's not what's happening right now. And I don't try to play long at the bottom. I just seen a huge move right there. I thought Palantir got flushed, and I've really been stuck on that idea, and it just has not been working out. So here comes Palantir right into the bottom. If we break below 16, man, we got to get out of that one. Palantir destructed right now. We're long at 1660, so it's not the end of the world per se, but it's also not a great trade here, averaging all the way down in on Palantir. So it's been hit right now pretty good. While most other things are trying to hold up. So right now I'm throwing sort of caution at the wind here, but we do have a position on Palantir, and it's getting worse. So and so far not so good here on the Palantir long, a break of 116, and we're gonna we're gonna have to exit. Like the flushes are like 20 cents, and the bids up are like 10. So just get ready here. There it is. See, like it's gonna flush through. We just averaged our last piece at 07s, which is why we have a good price, but still it's hurting right now. Palantir coming back in, and it wants to break 16. So there it goes. Bye-bye Palantir breaking through 116. Hopefully we get a spike up off of that, but right now it doesn't look like no relief rally here whatsoever on Palantir as it just continues to crank lower. PLTR making new lows as we speak, as is the market. Bitcoin?
I'm just punching out. That's me punching out of Mara. I had to stop like a few cents lower, but I just looked over. IBIT just broke the low of the day, so maybe that was an overreaction. Maybe overreaction, but I had just reloaded IBIT in front of the volume weighted average price, and I saw IBIT breaking the lows, so I'm out of Mara. I can wait to see some strength come back into Bitcoin before getting back into that same long. I'll just punch out for a 5-cent hit and see where we can get back in. Let's go to Adara news.
Yeah.
Some hawkish comments being made here by Fed's Kugler saying that progress on disinflation has slowed, tariffs are still likely to significantly impact the economy, and that the policy stance apparently well-positioned, somewhat restrictive, so not really showing any signs of a potential cut as of right now. But the main thing here, progress on inflation has slowed and the tariffs are still showing economic impact. According to Fed's Kugler, again, Fed's Kugler is really the only item on the docket today from an economic standpoint. So keep an eye here, still talking, as is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as part of this Trump press conference. So I'll keep watching this. Back to you.
Yeah, Yuck City right now for me. Thanks. There it goes. Yeah, everything's breaking down. There goes Palantir. There goes NVIDIA's. I mean, I guess it's just waiting. Like the NASDAQ being up 3%. I mean, what up to Jay Lee? What up to everybody out there that's riding the bull? Because it's not me today, as we did have a downside play there in the market, and we just touched VWAP, and boom. So it's like sometimes we talk about it, like you gotta sometimes flip up your position, and I didn't have it in me today. I've been like studying, looking at the market and saying like I never really want to fight trend. And today I thought there was going to be a pullback. We wrote down lots of stuff about pullbacks, but that I wanted to buy the pullback. But this is getting to be, it's not that it's that dramatic, but we were up 4, now we're up 3. So yeah, I mean, looking at the NASDAQ might be the right play, but the market is really getting crushed right now. So I'd still want to buy that Palantir in case there's a move back, just because of how dramatic it's been and what we know about PLTR. But yeah, it's been dead. And we were able to, as that was sort of happening, we got some out at 1810 there on SMR, so we only have half a position, but this is also falling back in. So yeah, man, the market not liking all of this, and that's it's too bad. We did put on a good position, like a really big position actually on Palantir by the time it came in. And then we wound up losing that, basically that 70 cents on that move. And thankfully we don't still have it, but there it goes, man, all the way downside. Fed's Kugler right now talking. Who cares, Fed? It has nothing to do with you. Get off the mic. Like, it's fine. They're allowed to do it. I'm not. It's just right now, the story is with China and with Trump. And like, do we believe and what was going on with that last little report there? But down to 115 is the bottom potentially right now for Palantir. I don't know if we want to buy that bottom, though. It still had a nice move. What's up, Jay Lee? Great call on the short Qs there.
Yeah, well, that move down that you just saw breaking the lows, Bitcoin, I mean, IBIT's red, but obviously Bitcoin's a 24-hour market, so ignore that. But when it broke that low, I mean, the gut decision to punch out of Mara was right, but that was a very clean reverse short as well. And the other thing that it broke the trend, like right as this was happening, it was breaking the trend line. So in theory, like I'm probably getting out of that regardless. But now I got to start thinking the other direction, or where's our bigger support level? So that reminded me of the original thing with Mara, was why I liked it.
Close.
Let it pull back into prior highs, which is underneath, it's just barely underneath the $16 level. So there's room. Like it could retest Friday's high and still even retest Friday's close, and you wouldn't necessarily have broken this upward trend while everyone's panicking. Apple's been a good long at 207. I see no reason. I'm not short this move, so we got to wait for 207 again to even think about anything like this. So we got to wait to be able to get out of some of those longs early, but I had no short ideas that weren't Alibaba, and Alibaba was at a price that it had, I guess, no hope of getting to because there wasn't enough strength off the open. Let's go back to Adara. And when we come back, hopefully we can catch a bounce on some of these lows.
This is so stupid.
Right now, Bitcoin is poised to have this one daily candle erase the last 2 days worth of action, almost 3 days worth of action. That's right. High of day today, we actually almost clipped 106,000, high around 105.7 thousand. But as of right now, trading back below 103,000. The low from Friday would be 102.3 thousand. So we're about 600 away here from taking out Friday's low, in addition to already erasing the action that we had on Saturday and Sunday. Let's take a look at what some of these other crypto-related names are doing. Bitcoin basically flat here on the day based on the Binance chart here. Ethereum hanging out still around that 2,500 level, so good look. XRP still strong, 7.5%. Solana, 2.5%. Cardano and Doge, about 2%. So definitely some gains across the board, but the strongest, it looks like XRP really holding up for here. Now, right now, the fourth largest crypto token entity or asset by market cap right now. Back to you.
Yeah, the purge continues here as we continue to head lower.
Purge, yeah.
But
purge?
all right, here comes, like Micron is one of the names at least out there that hasn't broken the low. So I did get one dip buy at 92 into VWAP. It was actually 92.30, but it bounced off 92 even. So this is at least in the pocket of did not make a fresh low when the market made a fresh low, so relative strength intact. I don't see there's nothing at a short level that I want right now. So I'm not going to short any bottoms. I want is breaking this trend. You got a bottoming tail candle, and we're breaking this trend line in here. I should already be nibbled into this in the 60s, and then just giving this to the prior bar low, which is the current bar. There's your close above. Fill me at 68, not getting filled. So we'll move to 69, and then it goes up to 70. So I want to get this trend break, give it to the prior bar low here on Micron. As far as looking for some shorts, like there's a lot of places. I mean, look, obviously there's a lot of places that you could have already been short. All right, so hopefully we get this into VWAP. My stop is already in on Micron. I'm looking at Google, or Alphabet, I should say. It didn't break the low. The only reason why I kind of like this is, remember they had look, Alphabet had their own issues, everyone concerned about the model and all that stuff, and it had that big dump. It doesn't come, when we gapped up, it didn't come close to gapping into any big levels. Instead, it's just holding this consolidation. If it had gapped a little bit higher, I'd almost feel better if it had gapped higher with some of the other names. But no, it did not. I think you can at least get a retest of 155 and some market weakness back into, we'll call it Thursday's highs, not Friday's highs. So kind of continuing a theme that Google has had. I want to see how it interacts with VWAP or a flat bottom break. And just as quickly as Micron is starting to go, the market makes another run at the low of the day. I don't suspect this is going to hold up if the market takes another low. If we can hold the bottom, then this is it's a good trend break in that it's at least relatively strong. That's all I'll give it. I don't want to be fighting anything which is currently making fresh lows. I'd rather find something which is either higher lows or strong relative to the market, something along those lines. Apple fits that category as well. I still think maybe we could get 207, but it's trying to hold on to VWAP. There's a chance that Apple could round off here and there's some 209 longs, but I'm not there yet. The market making another leg to the downside. Really, Apple was the only clean level here for me today. Just the 207's been really good. That's about it. So might as well wait for that. Farm trader. You know what? Technically, I don't think this qualifies anymore as a bear market rally. Does it?
Bear market rally?
Like, isn't there a limit to how far you can move?
Well, the market's a bull market.
Well, once you're in a bear market,
This could be a bull trap.
Like at some point, you're not a bear market rally anymore.
Right,
I think we had a bear market rally. I don't know if you can call this that anymore. It could be a bull trap. That's possible, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the bulls, I mean, I came in with crazy FOMO. Like, I didn't buy anything at the top or anything, but I came in, like, I woke up this morning and I was talking with somebody, dad yesterday, that runs a lot of money for one of the banks here, a lot. I couldn't believe the book that he told me. But, you know, he was just like, we woke up this morning and I saw the Nasdaq up 4% and I messaged him immediately. I was yesterday on the Diamond with 13 of the girls on the team, and he's yelling to me, oh, you know, S&P or Nasdaq up 4% or Dow up 500 points there and yada yada. And I was just like, geez, that was good, good move. But then I'm thinking to myself, but I don't have enough longs right now in the account. So there's always going to be opportunities there to get more, and it looks like you're getting that opportunity right now in many of these names on a pullback. You're still up 3% on the Nasdaq. I mean, if any of us went home on Friday hoping to be up this morning, you would take 3% in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we'd all take it.
So it feels maybe a little bit worse than it is, this move down, because, you know, you just got to zoom out and understand that, hey, man, the market's still pretty nice, but Meta just continues. Well, no, it actually doesn't, and now it's bouncing a little bit there. All right. So Palantir down here at 115, man. Where do we eventually buy this? I put a stop in to go long if we took 116 again, but that doesn't look like it's happening. So we're just going to have to be patient and go see what Neil's up to. Well,
I'll tell you what we're up to right now is we're checking out eSignal, everybody. Why? Because it's free for a month, which is a good price as far as I'm concerned, especially with everyone taking profit. So take some of that profit from the recent bounce in the market, and you don't even have to put it into eSignal. And what you get out of it is a great set of features, but highly customizable. Like whatever you happen to want eSignal to do for you, you can. You can back test, you can forward test, you can change up some of the screeners if you want to go ahead and do that. You can look at tick charts. You can do tick replay as well. What I love about it too, it's an entitlement-based platform. So you can look at individual markets and say, okay, well, I don't want to look at the Amex anymore. I don't need that. Or I would need to look at futures. Let's add the futures market to it. And whenever the market's up, the quotes are up. Reliable quoting is also right there for you, and it's all at your fingertips. As I said, it's also very highly intuitive, and the first month is free. So you try it out. It's pretty easy to figure out in there and change things up and work your trading into a better groove with eSignal. Whatever your trading style is, swing trade, day trade, eSignal is going to be able to be used for you. And you can use level 1 access, get the imbalance locator, scan the QR code you see in front of you, start it, 1 month free, nothing to lose. Try them out, eSignal. And let's go to ADR.
We do have Donald Trump here being asked about what happens in the situation if China and U.S. do not reach, a concrete deal in negotiation. Will tariffs go back up? Donald Trump says they won't go all the way back up to 145%, but they will be, quote, substantially higher. So Donald Trump right now answering questions after his press conference about pharmaceuticals here with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Back to you.
RFK.
All right.
Oh, just shout out to Wilson, because I was going to mention IBIT in here. IBIT, that's a hefty...
Wilson.
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 Yo, I'll tell you right now, if you don't get some kind of feels when Wilson starts floating away, you know what I'm saying? That's a hard one. Like, that movie is a difficult one to watch. I don't care how tough you want to be. And the thing that gets me all the time is, like, ever since I had Aaron, I tried to watch Castaway again.
I haven't watched that.
It was a different movie after after Aaron was born.
Really?
Because it hit me, like, it hits hard, the whole, what you'll be missing out on if that happened. So I'm telling you, anyways, I don't know that. Wilson,
I'm going to get you a volleyball for Christmas, I think, next time.
You know, volleyball. You know I suck at volleyball, bro. Basketball. I'm ass
You
at
can put in Lake Ontario, let it sail away,
so
and then you can deal with your emotions there.
And I got hops too, but some sports aren't for me. Basketball, yes. Volleyball, no. No, IBIT, bottoming tail candle, good reversal happening here. So I like what's going on with IBIT. I think you're getting a nice little turn here. The market's trying to go again. I'm going to go back over to Mara because it never broke that low of the day. So now you're starting to get these higher lows. I'm going to jump back over because Mara I like for some relative
advertising
strength.
that.
I'm going to play it off. I thought we'd get to 15.8.
Go Palantir.
15.2. We're going to go for that. Micron also headed back to the upside as well.
Palantir. I just took a bite of the banana. Palantir now $1, but we need this to go, man, because $1 up is real nice, but let's see if we can get $3 or $4 up, man. We're taking some out, not looking this gift horse in the mouth. No way. We've already taken profit on this name. We're out of about 35% as it continues to go higher. There it is. We need this to happen for us. So let's go upside and let's go to Adara. And I want to thank everybody for the over 2,000 likes.
Awesome.
That's a chicken dinner winner. And if you're just joining us for the first time, when we get back from Madeira, even though it looks like Neil might be mowing down some lunch right now.
No,
I know, I'm just playing around. I mean, I just had a banana as well, my guy. Right there, the fruit. It's a fruit salad kind of time right now. Neil loving the fruit salad as we go back out to the upside. But thank you to everybody and to all good night, because when we come back, we'll figure out what's for lunch. But right now, we're going to go to Adara and see what she's talking about.
This is the heat map here. Here is our sector watch. Producer manufacturing really strong here. John Deere actually reporting later this week, so it could be one to watch. Consumer durables looking good. Transportation looking good. Energy minerals looking good. Consumer services, with the exception of McDonald's, pretty strong here as well. Health technology, finance, some strength and weakness here. Retail trade also a little bit mixed. Walmart to the downside, but these tech sectors pretty strong as well. Now there are some exceptions. Of course, the market in general was on watch to the upside this morning after the U.S. and China announced that they have a 90-day pause for their reciprocal tariffs. We do have Netflix and Palantir both to the downside today. ADP a little bit weaker as well. So it's not all strength. It's not all sunshine and roses. Some weaker sectors as well, including communications and utilities. But generally, lots of strength in the market to start this new week. Back to you.
Thank you, Darren. And it's almost as if the names that held up the best going into this are the ones that are getting a little bit of punishment, which is fine because that means you're rotating from one place to another. But give me a break. Walmart should be over $100 on this. But anyways, that's just me being annoyed. No, obviously it makes sense. It held up a little bit well. going into it. So Micron is back to VWAP. Last time it did this move, I got it all out at
Walmart
VWAP.
tank is huge.
That's what I'm saying. I'll get to Walmart
I have
in a second.
to buy some of that.
93.5, the next level. We hold VWAP. I think we can go there. The NASDAQ has done its bottoming tail candle. If this is as bad as it got, then you could draw like a channel in here, lower highs, all that kind of good stuff. I think is once you get over 208.50 on the NASDAQ, it's all systems go. So Micron holding up decently. I do want to get back in tomorrow, which I have not done yet, but I'm trying to buy it off VWAP. Oops, let me cancel. I don't need that one. I want to buy it off the VWAP first and then see if we can't add to it on the way to the upside. But Micron breaks VWAP, so we're holding on to that bad boy. And Walmart, as I said, it seems as if some names that have held up well are getting sold off into this. They were seen as one of the better retails for tariffs, and obviously with deals getting reached and tariffs going down, this happens. Even if it doesn't fundamentally make sense, rotation is rotation, and that's how the markets sometimes work. I think this is going to provide, if this continues, this weakness in Walmart, on this news, if you get any chance at the 50 period or the 200 period moving average, I'm buying again. And I said I was going to wait till the end of this quarter, but I don't think I would if I see the 200 period again.
Yeah, I know, and that was what I was saying. Like, I feel like so many plays happened, and it was just like, I think the market's going lower, and then you just sort of ignore that. That's why I do think that, again, not financial advice here, but the dollar cost averaging system of where you just buy on the 15th of every month or something like that would have given you a great opportunity to buy the lows in April, almost no matter where you bought them. Although obviously the end of April would have been a little bit worse. But if you had your dollar cost average at the end of the month, then you would have had that huge move down at the end of May as well. So, and then now you'd be able to buy some more in a couple weeks. So just try to figure that all out. But right there, we're getting some more out on Palantir as now we're $1 and change there to the upside. And shout out to Jay Lee and everybody out there who continue to support me despite me not making any money. So there it goes. Nice move up there for that one. But you know what? I mean, Joe's been waiting over there like forever to try to figure out what is for. Yeah, so here we go, man. I mean, I know all 2,000 likes probably waiting around for this. Today we had hard-boiled eggs for breakfast. So I don't know how many Sharif has in his pocket over there, but probably a lot. All right, so right now, shout out to Sharif, man. I mean, go. Yeah, exactly. Grab that protein right in there. All right, hey, I like eggs. You know, how do you like your eggs?
Look,
Neil?
first of all, I'm starting to like them fried. My wife has been doing a lot of fried eggs.
Okay.
I'm an over easy.
Okay.
But I'm starting to be converted to
I'm over hard. But I like poached. Poached medium is good. You got the little bread there, little dip action there. My son likes scrambled eggs, but I really like the hard-boiled egg. I mean, the hard-boiled egg is very simple. Some disassembly required. Very simple. The disassembly is a problem. Shout out to Marissa. I got someone doing that for me. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go. All right. No, just joking. Joking. I love you. Brunch was great yesterday. Okay, so Greek. Oh, let's do it again. What's for lunch? All right. Greek grilled chicken.
But what?
So that could be nice. Now a little bit of spices on there. Get a little Greek style. Could be. I'm hoping for a souvlaki type style right there. Maybe some side pita. You put it in. You get a little souvlaki. Get a little sandwich over there. With grilled Greek chicken. So that's what it says. Normally it is a little more descriptive than that. Roasted potatoes, seasoned vegetables. And does anyone want to guess what salad is accompanying this?
I'm going to think long and hard about this. Okay, clearly
Neil,
it should be a Caesar salad.
Yes.
Clearly it should be a Caesar salad.
So Neil, wrong, but very good guess, of course. Greek salad. So right there, Neil, you got it. That's another one. Well, props up there. Yeah, my bad on that one, as it is Greek salad to go with Greek grilled chicken.
Who would have thought?
With roasted potatoes, potentially Greek roasted potatoes there as well, and seasoned Greek vegetables. So there we go. Shout out to everybody on the Danforth, as we have one of the greatest celebrations.
Taste of the Danforth. I haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
Years. If you're ever in Toronto, that's worth it.
Yes, I think it's midsummer probably. I feel like it's maybe a little bit later in the summer, but I don't know.
It is later, because I just remember it was always balls hot like when you'd be out there.
What kind of hot again? Ball don't lie. Ball, we're talking about basketball.
Yeah, I did just say that.
Like that basketball was real hot last night. A couple good games.
Sometimes you get familiar in conversation, and I forget that we're doing a YouTube show, and I speak a little more naturally.
We're not even live yet, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, so Shout out to everybody that's been out there, and that is, of course, wrapping it up in what's for lunch. So thank you to everybody. I already see what's for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be spicy, so that should be good as well. Join us tomorrow. Oh, shit. Joe got it. Damn it. Okay. There is a little bit of Italian flair tomorrow. All right. Yeah, I like a lot.
Well, you can't spoil it now.
No, I'm not, man. That's what you call a teaser. You know, people coming back. They're not for us. They're coming back for the food. So we'll see tomorrow what is that.
Food they don't get.
Yeah,
only we get.
Exactly. Yeah, they're waiting for that one there. You know, you live through others, right? It's like, that's why I live through these two guys over here, you know, the life going to these clubs. I mean, that's why we have the Dollar Club going on right there. You know what I mean? So, okay.
These club days are over. Joe, I'm not so sure about. Joe's probably still heading out. You see how dapper the guy,
He just wears that to work. You're trying to show off over there. All right, so again, it's 10:48. Thank you everybody for watching, man. We've had a great time this morning, obviously, as per usual, and we have right now over 9,500 of you watching 2K. Let's see if we can get that up just a little bit more. If you haven't hit it yet, please do. And I have an update I have to do on Chrome over there. It says finish update. So I'll be updating the Chrome as we go. Bet on some Maple Leafs today, so that should be good. We'll see if that's going to be a losing trade, much like some of my Palantir trades today have been as well. But right now we did empty a little bit of the clip up there to the point where I told you we were at a 30%. We have a couple more outs there. So we're at only about 40% right now. Would really, yeah, Randy is definitely the clubber out of all of us. That is for sure. But here we go, man. We'll have to wait to see if Palantir wants to continue up. We took a couple 50 to 80 cent hits, only to hopefully find a couple bucks back in here underneath, sort of lift up the rock and see what we can find with Palantir. So we're still a bit early on that. So is there anything you want to?
Well, just a couple of things. Well, I'm back in on Trend and Mara, and MU's holding VWAP. So we got some out there north of the volume weighted average price, 93.25. The high of the day is 94.25. So I think if we double top in there during the middle of the day, like lunchtime, then that's an easy out. And Mara, this is the trend holding on Mara. I got 42s, go Jackie, long at VWAP. But if it loses this trend, no bueno. Let's go to Adara. Time to see how the US dollar is doing.
Pushing up higher here, Donald Trump casually mentioned Eli Lilly and its previously announced investment in the U.S. So LLY pushing up here, worth mentioning, went from just below 740s to 744 in a handful of seconds. Here's the U.S. dollar. U.S. DXY here, as I've mentioned previously, continuing to make this uptrend from the lows. But looks like right now we might be struggling here. Some previous support coming in around that 101.2 level, just trying to break above it. Next level of potential support resistance could be this previous resistance back in early April around that 103.5. So that is here the daily chart outlook on the DXY, which is trying to bounce a little bit here. As mentioned previously, make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and keep an eye on any of these pharmaceutical names as Donald Trump's press conference does continue. Back to you.
Donald. All right. We haven't looked at DJT. Let me go see what's going on there.
Everything in gap.
I mean, most of my earnings have been pulled into Trump coin. So let's just see what happens here with DJT right now. Apparently hearing a 30-day ceasefire. I don't know if that's Pakistan or India or Ukraine or what, but we're just hearing something about that. We'll get to that news in a minute. There's DJT, and it's only interesting because honestly, we're at these tops. And I was looking at this earlier today, so I wasn't sure how it had reacted today, and I'll look at that in a minute. But just on a daily chart here for DJT again, True Social, you're just going to see breaking through 27 could give us something. Yep, could give us something there as well. We've been talking as Eli Lilly as well at the highs right now, breaking through those levels. Great move there for Eli Lilly as Adara's reported some ongoings there with the White House. All right, man, we talked about some sports gambling. I put some bids out there today and got filled. We bought the Toronto Maple Leafs on the series line. But if you're looking for unbeatable odds on the biggest game, switch over to ProfitX right now. It's peer-to-peer platform where you set the price. No one size fits all. No more of that. It's like crafting your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track all of the action live, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. It's ProfitX. It is playing, it is gambling reimagined. Use code TRADERTV. That's one word, TRADERTV, to sign up now and grab 2% back. Nothing wrong with grabbing some 2% back. You deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed, your $20 back. But Eli Lilly, nice topside move. All right, man, we're not going to make it all back on this play, but we are hoping to make most of it if we can back right there. I have some offers now on Palantir at 117. You know, the 200 period moving average is up here. That's VWAP is the blue line. That's 117.80. I'm trying to get something out at 116.80. Then if we can climb, then good on us. So here it goes right now. Trump signing the executive order right now on drug prices. So that's being signed right now. We've seen some up and down here today. We've seen XBI climb and then fall back in. Now trying to get back up to the highs for XBI. XBI went to 80, back into 78 as biotech, drugs, again, making that move. XLV, of course, the healthcare sector on watch today, as he's on air right now.
Yeah, he's literally talking.
And he has blue tie, so I don't know exactly what that means, but there we go. Nice move higher right now for some of these drug names. Look at XLV up 2%. So we said like short some of the pharmas because they were downside, but not really right now. I don't know the exact details of this order or anything like that. It doesn't really matter to me. But pharma
market move.
Yeah, I mean, look at Pfizer. Pfizer up $1 straight.
Yeah, the pre-market move was insane.
Yeah, and holding. So congrats, man. Okay, there's Palantir now at $1.50. And as promised, I thought I was here, 116.85 I am, but now that I see this, I'm just going to offer 75s. Get that out rate, 73, sorry. Get that out right now and just deal with this, hopefully higher. There goes Palantir, man. We've made back half of our losses, hopefully to make back a little bit more here. Okay, there it goes. Yes, sir, Palantir now for the win, baby. All right, let's get out something else at 80. Now we'll see if it can go higher. 117.50 where VWAP is, sounds good to me. It's $1.70. Thanks, Jay Lee. You were like, hey, man, maybe you'll get $2 out of this. It's looking like we are right now, so here we go, man. Yeah, I don't know what the actual wording behind the drug bill is, so you guys are going to have to look that up, but I don't really care because it's rallying a little bit in the space, and that's what we care about right now. Bitcoin. It's funny we said it, man. Low. Yeah, I said relative strength turns into weakness there if it doesn't hold 104, but.
Not today. Bitcoin, I'll get to the Bitcoin chart in a second, but we broke that trend on Mara. I'm not shorting it because this was not a part of the plan to go short on Mara. Usually I would short a trend line break like this. Doesn't hold on to VWAP. And IBIT, it just broke support, although this isn't technically the low of the day, but you're distinctly trending down. Mara was relatively strong, but at some point that strength has to go. Only thing we're left in is Micron, which is trying to hold on to VWAP. I mean, the buy is in front of 92 at this point, quarters to the $0.50 level. But if we lose VWAP again when the NASDAQ is here, we might have to jump out of this and start looking for some kind of a short idea. Let's go over to Adair. Only 5 minutes left to go. We threw it to the midday. Let's go to the desk before that.
Here's the NASDAQ. We do have the market on watch. Donald Trump did just end his press conference. Earlier, he kind of indicated he was going to stop answering questions, but then continued to answer them as he signed his executive order. So the executive order on these trying to lower healthcare prices for Americans has been signed. Donald Trump is going to be pretty much under the radar for a lot of the rest of the day. He will be doing some traveling, of course, to the Middle East, so keep an eye on that. But in terms of any other public speaking engagements or press conferences, those are not on his schedule for the rest of the day, guys. Back to you.
Okay. All right. So I just want to say, everyone, we are doing Studio 8 behind us right now. So a shout out to everybody working back there as, you know, you may see some sneezing going on, so on and so forth. But there, oh, look at that. We got, anyone need some chairs for sale over there? We got a couple chairs.
I thought they were moving some out.
Yeah, that looks nice and proper now, right? So I was like, what happened? But a couple minutes ago, so maybe all right, Studio 8 renovation now paused as we're going to get some, no, but we're still going on that one. So, yeah, again, thank you to everybody again for the continued support, not only of the show, but as we continue to work here. And we do understand we have Bears versus Bulls going to let us know if there is, and we also have our technicians over there as well. If there's anything wrong with our mics, we'll be getting all over that, but you may hear some clickety-clack behind us.
Hot hand in the dice game.
Yeah. And,
that's the only clickety-clack.
Yeah, hopefully. We should be playing some, that's what we need to do. Oh, here we go. Will the market get back to 4% today on the NASDAQ? Let's ask. Wow, their Palantir right now is $2 in the money. Thank you, Mr. Westermeyer, for this 8-ball. Oh, man, it's like, it's in an under, oh. It says ask perplexity. So
I don't have perplexity.
Yeah, even if I had it up, it's not going to give us a definitive answer.
I thought perplexity would give you something.
Oh, it will give us selling, but like if I ask it, will the NASDAQ get back to 4%? All right, you know what?
I thought I had. I do have.
I do. Well, I'm just going to call it up on here. We'll ask it. There goes Palantir anyways, upside. All right, I'm going to ask it, Neil.
Apparently, I don't have
will the NASDAQ get back to 4%? Oh, crap.
Yes, we can.
I got an ad or something showed up there.
Well, I'm just
keep going. I have to type that in again.
I'm just saying yes. So we got about 3 minutes to go here. The one stock that was on the radar that I had not traded today, Alibaba, is holding lower highs here and trending down. Kind of, it's doing almost the exact same thing as the market. The only difference, NASDAQ at VWAP, and it's underneath. So I said I wanted short 138. Obviously, we're not going to sniff that. During lunch is your usually only chance to get into the Chinese ADRs before they fall asleep at 1, 2 o'clock. So we're going to play off of VWAP if we get a little bounce and curl underneath the volume weighted average price. Micron, just a quick update. It's holding on to some strength. I would prefer that it stop bouncing off this level here, 92.25, and taking that long. And I'd rather be buying this above the volume weighted average price. I want it to start holding higher lows. That's just a better look. Otherwise, we should be thinking about some shorts. For now, the only thing left is to try it off the low again. But I'd rather be buying this above the volume weighted average price, show an upward trend. It's held up, but holding up isn't good enough. I want to see it start breaking out a little bit more, retest that high of the day. Any luck with Perplex?
Yeah, I did get some luck right here. I'm listening to some John Cena because you can't see me right now as Sharif got some John Cena going on over there.
Sharif.
Okay, so just real quickly, this is what Perplexity says. It just says, given the 90-day suspension, the hostilities between U.S. and China may be coming, a little lesser right now. I'm just sort of marking this. It says, though, currently underneath its 4% mark, it is uncertain whether it will close at or above a 4% gain. In summary, the NASDAQ is performing strongly and within reach of the 4% increase. Whether it gets back or surpasses those levels depends on continued buying momentum.
Oh, that's what it depends on.
Throughout the remainder of the session. So now that we've got that figured out for you guys.
By the way, have you seen this chart?
Core weave? Core to the weave? Right now? It's not weaving
Core
that
weave
much.
wants an all-time high. Now, granted, it's an IPO. This, and shout out to everyone in the chat who mentioned it, is the strongest. Well, okay, there's probably some small cappers that have moved more, but it's the strongest chip adjacent name that I've seen here today. So shout out to Core weave. Remember, it's all-time highs on IPO don't necessarily mean anything, but you have nothing else to work off of. It's not just that there's a 63 up there. The 2 days after that, watch out for 60. So it's now cleared out higher than any close. It's on a closing basis, it's made fresh highs. You just want to see what happens at that 60 level. So this looks pretty strong, volume pretty good. I think if it holds on to the trend, great. Look for some dip buys in there. Just not a heck of a lot of anything else to work out from. I'm still not a huge. I've always said, I don't really get it as to why they're as strong as they are. So you'll never hear me say anything fundamentally about it. I just don't necessarily understand why this is something that is going to be a good company 5-10 years from now, because they would have to have some kind of a real stranglehold on the mid-sized businesses, supplying them with old NVIDIA chips. So I don't understand how that's going to be that big for the long term, but right now CoreWeave is clearly squeezing. Good look for them. It's midday time, everybody.
Yes.
You got the professor. You got Joey.
Oh, no, not the professor. The professor.
They're dressed to the nines. I don't know where the blazer went. Joe's not wearing the blazer anymore. He's hung up the blazer. I guess it's not cool enough. What's going on? It's not cool enough in here. Joey Shivers is not feeling cold enough to put the blazer back on. So blazerless Joey options. Go get them, boys. Where's the everyday not to wear that?
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. That is your boy, Joey Options, and he is not Mr. Shivers today. My man's warm.